This is a challenge. Battle for a new champion. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Right Reality Podcast. My name is Steven.
And my name is Mixie. We are here to recap episode 15. Welcome to Conquest and episode 16. Steven doesn't know the title yet.
Oh, no.
Family Knows Best. Of this season of the challenge, season 39, Battle for a New Champion.
See, this is a very interesting element of the podcast that we're doing now.
Yes.
Is that we're setting up elements that while you're hearing this, the beginning part, we haven't seen the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll hear us talking about it later.
Mm-hmm.
But God damn it, this has got to be Mariah. No, not Mariah. This got to be Nerys and Olivia,
yes,
right?
It's 100% Nerys and Olivia, which means that's next episode. So let's buckle up for that, buckaroo. I can't wait for you guys to hear us talk about that in this episode. But for us in real life, we haven't seen it yet.
My goodness gracious. My goodness gracious. Well, we're here. And now my head is spinning.
Yes.
Just playing out scenarios. And well played, Mix. Well played.
I had to spring it on you without you knowing. I knew it would send you into a spiral. This episode, Steven, was good.
Some might say it was actually great. It might have been the best episode of the year, honestly.
I'm going to have to tiptoe around agreeing with you. It was the most entertaining from start to finish
That's a great
that this
word.
season has ever had.
There were so many points, and we'll get into each and every one of them, where I was, SAT World, enthralled.
Ooh, good one.
I was enthralled. I was on the edge of my seat. I was clapping. I was like, for the first time, like, oh, commercial. When it's not like, oh, here comes the commercial. I was like, you know?
Yep.
It was great. Tension building, all of it was very well done. And I can't believe I'm going to say this.
Oh, no.
Shout out production.
I'm going to have to agree with you. Shout out production. Although I will say with an asterisk,
Okay.
should have just been doing this the whole time, but
It's a great point.
we got there eventually, so I'll just take what was given to me at this point.
As this episode was playing out, Mixie, I want to get your general thought on this idea that I had, and then we'll launch into the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, to me, when this whole episode finished, part of me was like, I feel like this should have been the middle section. And then we brought the vets in at the end had them do the bigger things, if they were going to do that.
Steven.
This kind of felt like a great middle section. And then I was like, but maybe I'm enjoying this more because of where it's at. And I just kept ping-ponging back in my head of was this just a great idea of a format? Or am I liking it because we've changed it up 3 times or what?
I'm going to have to agree with you that it would have been nicer to swap them. Although, like, the whole situation with setting Nerys up in the vote and everything, things like that, I think wouldn't have happened as
That's a good point.
entertainingly until later on. But I do think it would have exposed alliances a lot quicker. I think that this downfall of these alliances and whatever the fuck is going on wouldn't be happening to such a entertaining state if we had swapped them. But who knows? I do agree, though. This already is my favorite section of the ladder tiers or whatever the fuck we're still referring to this as. But which is saying a lot because I did enjoy it when the mercenaries came, but that was only like a sliver of the episode. Whereas this is like, we're dropping people in the daily. Yes. We're throwing 3 people into an elim that nobody can see, which I feel like hasn't happened in a while.
I don't remember like a regular like elimination being 3 people almost ever. I think there's been one-offs when they've done it towards the end.
I'm talking more that like the peanut gallery can't see what's happening.
Oh, I love it so much.
Yes.
I love it so much because not only does it, for the people who hate the help, right? I don't really see how much you could help on this.
Yeah.
There would have been a little bit, but this felt more like we're setting up the reactions of them coming back to the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very Traders-esque.
Yes.
Returning to the breakfast room and seeing who comes back in, right? All of those elements which make perfect drama for television, they've been able to capture here. Mm-hmm. And also, there was very little of this episode that was just talking.
I know, thank God. And I wonder why we're sitting here saying it was the best episode of the season. Weird.
Just saying. I would not be upset if this is the format for this show moving forward.
Yep, I agree.
If season 40 is like this the entire way,
this would be so awesome.
Maybe we have 40 people and we just blow through people much quicker.
This gave the daily a lot more like stuff on the line. It just I loved every second of this episode. Truly, I did. I want to get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's get into it. So, first and foremost, we get back to the house, and Kyland and Bertha are chatting, and Jay has an absolute fucking meltdown. I just want to remind Jay, and honestly everyone else, Asaf didn't die. He was just eliminated. Okay? So let's all just take a fucking Xanax and chill the fuck out. He's gone. It's okay. You can still call him. He still will exist in the world. He did not die. Okay, everyone? Bertha's like, I'm sad. Jay's like, fuck you, Kylie. Chill the fuck out. Okay? Chill out.
I think there was some part that we didn't see that Kyland might have said something to set Jay off. Because obviously Jay's heated because of what happened. I'm trying to remember the exact line Kyland had. I think he was like, we're all sad or something like that. And Jay's like, fuck, there's no way you're sad. You're not sad, sir.
Here's where we're going to get. Okay, Steven, I texted you and I said, I think this is going to be a heated podcast. Remember that?
Yeah.
I think I'm turning on Jay like 100% at this point.
I'm not trying to defend Jay. As a matter of fact, I'm scooting over there too.
Yeah,
because what we'll see in a little bit with him and Michelle talking.
Dude, all of it this episode, I've been trying to justify it as like gameplay, which I still do think it is. But for him to get mad at Kyland for smiling or laughing, which Michelle even said was like, I was there. It wasn't anything inappropriate. Like, I would have called you out. He needs to chill the fuck out. Jay says he's at an 8 of anger level. What the fuck is a 10? That's terrifying.
I think 10's a fight. 10 is fisticuffs.
But for him to get mad at Kyland for having any sort of joy for the person that was not in his alliance leaving is so it doesn't make any sense. Jay celebrated Kyland's friends leaving pretty much the whole season because it's the only people that have left so far. So
I agree with you 100% on that. I think obviously the emotions were raw there for a second, and he was trying to be like, hey, Asaf isn't doing this, I think, for the other reasons that maybe some of you are doing this, for the money for yourself. He's doing it because he's got a kid, which is obviously the reason Corey has always done it. Yeah, and Melissa's done it. So for them, it's a lot more raw of like, this is, as we said on All Star Short, life-changing money for some of these people who have families and people to take care of, and not people who are just trying to live a lifestyle and be influencers and do all that type of stuff. This money can go a whole lot further for people with families. That being said, it was a big overreaction, but he's right there in the moment. They just got back in the house. It seems like maybe they were saying something else was happening on the drive back, potentially.
Well, why the fuck are we still not getting that footage, MTV? I don't know how hard that is. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I would say the other thing about it is like, it was a bad look for Jay, just generally speaking, to be freaking out like that. But for me, if that's like the quote leader of my alliance to be acting like that, would really turn me off of wanting to work with him. Because he's really going very emotional and not thinking and just causing problems now that like can later on affect my alliance with him.
I can see that. I don't know if it turns me off of working with him, because I think at this point those lines have already been done. If this was earlier in the season, I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everybody is where they probably should be. And honestly, worst time at the end of this episode, worst time in the world for Olivia to have jumped ship from the other alliance. It was the worst time. Colleen was like, I'll ride with you for another time. Worked out perfectly for Colleen.
Yeah.
As Corey said, hey, we're changing the thing. Don't do it yet. And Nerys and Olivia jumped a week early. They jumped at least a week early at this point. Because they're not in that situation if they didn't jump at this point, right?
I agree with you. And I think Olivia said something along those lines too. But I mean, Jay has played Olivia specifically so hard this season, just like making her a puppet. I can't blame her. And she kind of said it later when Jay went off on Michelle. Like, Michelle's finally starting to see what we've been seeing and why we did what we did last week. So I don't know. Jay is really quickly becoming just one of my least favorite players from where he started in the beginning. And I'm curious. I feel like the internet is going to fucking explode on Jay this episode more than ever before.
There you go. I was like, have they not? Have they not? And let's get to some of the horrific takes that we had after our last episode.
Yes.
We had a lot of people online, in our DMs, in our mentions, with just some really, really bad takes. And I believe they're just because you hate certain people. You dislike certain people. In this case, the hate for Jay and Michelle, which I get now for Jay. I've never really understood it for Michelle. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of one of the big things. I mean, if we're going to, that's a different conversation. We're not going to go down that path. We'll just stick with this. Here's one of the worst takes I heard.
Yes.
This was talking about the scared game, saying scared game, which we have heard for eons on this show, right?
I would like that phrase to just be straight from the mouths of anyone in this show. I don't want to hear it ever again because of what you're about to say. Go ahead.
So, apparently, according to some people, a scared game is putting in Horacio because they're scared to see him in a final, right? All the time, up until this point, I thought a scared game was the exact opposite. Taking the safe route. Not voting in the strong people who can take you out at the end. Voting the same way. Saying the same people you've always said. That, as far as I have always understood, has been what playing a scared game means. Now people are like, oh, playing a scared game is not wanting to see Horacio in a final, so they wanted to take him out. They're literally, quote, scared of him. I'm like, yeah, but that's not. I need everybody to define going into the season what you mean, what scared games means to you. I need you to spell it out, and it's got to be on the record, so you can't just like pick it when it's favorable for you, because I think that's what people use it for.
Yes.
They use a great line, like we do in politics, when it favors what you want, and then you can just change it to fit your narrative.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate that.
Nerys did a grade A job of it this episode in itself. She used it in both ways, and I'm just like, which one is it?
Pick.
You don't get to do that. That's not how that works.
It's not how words work, as a matter of fact.
If you're asking me, a scared game is when you do not make moves in the game.
That is it. That is it.
We're in agreement on that.
Well, they're saying it's because they want him out because they would beat him in a final. Well, it doesn't matter because of the name of the number of people on the alliance. Okay, fine. They could take out the smaller people in the alliance then, but they're not. They're like, this is what everybody has always wanted, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody has always wanted people to say names that they would not say normally because they're a strong player. But I think they only want that when they're on that person's alliance, it seems like. So if like Jay and Horacio were still on the same team and Jay said Horacio, they'd be like, oh yeah, he's playing a real, not a scared game here. Mm-hmm. But all of a sudden, because it's just,
It's mind numbing, if I'm being honest with you.
That's a great way of describing it. I was carefully reading Twitter as the episode went, as we were posting our tweets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just some lunatic takes out there. And maybe that's crazy. Just because I'm on Twitter.
That's part of it.
that might be a large part of it. But there are some wild posts on there from cast members themselves as well.
Yep.
And I'm just like...
Raven.
Man, you guys got some just strong takes here. Just trying to make and it's the thing I hate most about this show, if I'm being honest with you. If I could just watch this show in a vacuum, that'd be great.
Is that the thing you hate most? Because the thing I hate most is these fucking alliance graphics.
They returned. They heard you wanted them last week.
Yes, but they didn't make sense, Steven. Let's dive into these. If you could help me out and put both of those alliance photos on the screen, just so while I'm discussing, we can talk about it. So one of those graphics is Kyland's alliance, and one of those graphics is Mariah's alliance. What is this Mariah alliance? First off, why do we care? Because Mariah's alliance is completely different than like the Jay Michelle core alliance that is in. She just picks and chooses from that alliance and then puts James in randomly. Now is James working with that main alliance? I don't know. Very confused. Also, Mariah is pictured in her own alliance. Please look at Kyland's graphic. Is Kyland in his own alliance? He is not. So why is her picture in her alliance, but he's not in his alliance? Not understanding. Do not get it.
I don't really know what to say. You nailed it on the head. There's not much to say other than the fact that we had bad graphic alliance come back. And as a matter of fact, I think that's what we asked for, honestly. I think that's what we asked for.
Olivia was in black and white, and now she's in Kyland's alliance. But I don't think, if you asked Olivia if she was in Kyland's alliance, I don't think Olivia would say she's in Kyland's alliance. I'm very confused.
I think what they have to do is they have to boil this down to the most simpletons watching this show. And according to what I saw on Twitter this week, and some people reaching out.
That's the only people watching?
Yeah, that's who's watching this television program. It's who's watching this television program. And unfortunately, some people, listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, is Olivia dead? Oh, no, she's just now being moved into that alliance.
Yeah, it was like an RIP.
Here's a better idea. Have both alliances on the screen at the same time, and then just move Olivia's over. It's not that hard.
Why was Mariah why was her picture in her alliance? That fucking sent me. I was screaming at my television screen. What the fuck is going on here?
It's just like nobody's QCing this work and being like, hey, can we do this better? Can we do this better? This is such a great episode. We're not going to get stuck on that.
We're not.
Even though it's so easy to. It's so easy to. But it's just another indication.
Well, I want to talk about this Jay meltdown that has continued to spiral from the night before. So Jay and Michelle go and talk to Nerys. And I'm through biting my tongue, agree with Nerys. Jay could have changed his vote to fix the stalemate. He chose not to do that. Okay. Jay has the exact same amount of power that Nerys has. Nerys did what Nerys was best for Nerys' game. Jay decided to keep it in a stalemate. That is his choice just as much as it is hers. Just as much as it is Michelle's. Just as much as it is Ed, who was actually the one that really fucking solidified the stalemate yet again.
I believe I had this conversation with Mom LaFranc. And
Shout out
Mom LaFranc. I'm not big on defending Jay after this episode. Here's what I will say, though. I believe Jay was like the second or third vote when they went back around. And I believe and if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. I believe he voted before Corey voted. And then as soon as Corey changed his vote, It was now up to the people in the back half, just the same way that we say, it depends on how the first person goes. Jay's like, no, I'm going to stick this way because I think somebody might change their mind here. One of the other guys might change their mind, which Corey did, right? And then the other girls could have been like, okay, I'm seeing where this is going now. I'm going to flood this the other way just to make sure. But that's not what happened. And I think he was banking on the fact of seeing Corey change his vote and now being like, okay, we see where this is going. Let's do something different. And that's not what happened. And again, he's acting very emotionally as well.
Yes, but Corey tweeted last week that they voted 4 times. And on the 4th round, that was when production said, whatever you do this round, it is the last vote, and it's going to be what sticks.
Got it.
So he had 2 to 3 other opportunities to change his vote prior to that to not have a stalemate and continue to just vote with the stalemate. So, I see it from your point of view as well because of the way that it went. But to be honest with you, I just think that he's dying on a hill that he shouldn't be dying on.
Yeah, but I understand why that's his best friend. That's his best friend, and so he's going to try to stand up for him. Their entire play... But it's
not like they voted for a soft. They just voted for a stalemate. It was just as equal as any of these other people that were available to go. I mean, Jay could have gone in.
Jay could have gone in, and I think that's part of why he was upset. Is I think he was, again... They all kind of knew, we talked about this, who was probably going to be there, right?
Yes.
And I think Jay at this point was like, it's CT or Bananas. Mm-hmm. It's one of the two, and most likely it's CT for this situation. I took out CT a few years ago, and if he has the opportunity to pick me, I don't see how he doesn't pick me. Our other option is a soft, and then there's 3 other guys or 2 other guys at this, 3 other guys, right?
Corey, Emmanuel, and Ed.
Correct. So our odds drastically go up of either me or my best friend. I think he was a little upset that he also got put in that position, and that's why he's on fire. He's like, I thought we were part of this alliance. I've known you for, as we discussed, 2 weeks ago? I've known you for 5 years somehow.
Yeah.
And you're not watching out for me kind of in a way. So I'm a little confused by that. Again, not defending him. I see why he's upset.
Yes, but the way that he talked to her.
And that's exactly.
And then the way that he talked to Michelle. Put the nail in the coffin for me. Yeah. I was sitting there screaming, yes, Michelle, you are the reason he has friends. Jay, you haven't kept Michelle safe at all. Go, Michelle. Go. Go, girl.
Seeing Michelle say,
and I've taken care of both of you.
Oh, you've taken care of me? Mother, why the do you have so many friends in this game? Because of me.
Really?
Too, yes.
Hot.
So hot.
Hot.
Smash.
Wow.
I mean.
I was like, am I falling in love with Michelle all of a sudden? I did not have that on my bingo card.
I've been in love with Michelle this whole time. I'm there, girl.
I've really appreciated Michelle in this show, and I've liked her strategy this season, even though while everybody else is shitting on her, Jay and Michelle have been playing a great game. If we're just looking at game, and you put anybody else's names and swap them out, and you watch the same gameplay, you would say the same thing. You just don't like them. That's just pure facts.
I agree.
And then she said that, and just the way she handled herself, and I was just like, "What's up, Shawty?"
Yep.
What it do, Shawty?
I couldn't agree more. It was very fucking hot.
Mixing. I'm gonna play some audio real quick here, and I just want to tell you, true or false?
Oh no,
is what you can give me back.
I think I know what this is. I almost wrote it down, and I was like, you know what? She goes home later, so I'm not gonna be a huge.
No, surprisingly, not that person.
Okay.
Surprisingly, we're not going to talk about somebody going home who brought up their family.
Yes.
We don't, listen, we like to hate, but you got family stuff.
Well, that's not even what I was going to say. Zara said that her and Raven were the 2 strongest girls. And I was like, Zara, yes, you are. I think we could all agree that Raven is not. And she proved that to me during Conquest. But go ahead with your audio. Sorry.
Sometimes you hear things that are so irrational that you're like, we can't even bring that up and waste our time.
That's why I didn't write it down.
And have our brains explode. We're on the same page with that. All right, let's play this clip. And again, the only correct answer here is true or false. Play the audio.
I think people are starting to see me as an absolute weapon of a human.
True. Well, actually, I see him as a weapon of a human. I don't know if they've seen it yet, though. Like, the people in the game, I don't know if they're fully aware. I think after this daily, it kind of solidifies it. But I've been saying this for weeks now. Ed is top tier. I want Ed on every season. Ed gives me everything. He's so well-rounded. He's smart. Like, he can do the puzzles. He's incredibly strong. He's agile. He has great, like, endurance. And he's funny as fuck. And he does, like, he's been doing some great fucking moves in eliminations and stuff with, like, the deliberations, how he fucking switched up his vote. And now he's, like, who he picked first. Like, all of that shit. Ed. Team Ed. Go Ed with his bitch pleases, which he hasn't whipped out in a while.
I think he got nervous when he heard us talking about the bitch pleases.
It's a
and
good
Ed,
look,
I just want to tell you, we like the bitch pleases, okay?
Yes. I love when you whip out your bitch pleases. Give them to me.
Bring them back. Yes. Team Ed, team bitch pleases.
To think that he came from the circle, which is so random, is so funny to me.
Do we do it? You already watched it. I haven't watched it. I feel like I really want to go back and... Here's the thing, though. I can't because of, circle message. Can't do it. Sorry, Ed. Can't do it. Can't do it. Maybe I can watch it on mute, but then that defeats the purpose of seeing Ed. And I would love to hear Ed on a different show.
He's there with his mom.
But then it would go circle message, and then it would talk, and it'd be like, oh, I hate that. But then it's Ed's voice. It's not what I need in my life right now, okay? It's just not what I need.
It's a good watch. I loved Ed from Circle, and I loved him what was he on? Spies, Lies, and Allies? He's just only been climbing in my book. I love Ed. Team Ed. I hope he gets to the final. It would be fucking amazing if he won the whole damn thing.
Let's go, Team Ed. Team Ed. Team Ed. Okay.
Team Bitch, please.
Team Bitch, please. Conquest time.
Yay!
Let's go. Let's go. We've moved on to a new step, a new level, a new word. I don't know.
I'm so confused.
Big changes. Big changes.
Before we get to the changes, Mr. TJ did something during this that I was on the floor laughing. Like, they couldn't even edit it to make it look like there was excitement in the room. Mr. TJ talks about how Asaf lost to CT and that knocks 10K off the final prize pot. Yeah. The final prize pot that he says they will be competing for, the final amount, which makes it very clear that there is no possibility of them adding more money to this,
yes,
is $356,000.
No excitement.
Nobody cared. No one was pumped. They couldn't even pretend to get an edit where anybody gave a shit. I would be livid if that was the prize pot that I was playing for compared to what we've seen other seasons be.
The other prize pots are split. So even in the year that I think it was $1 million, second still got some, and then you were with a partner. So it's kind of the same amount.
I would disagree just because I feel like there's been a precedent that's been set since the past like 2 seasons where they kind of like give little sprinkles and bits to other people.
Mm-hmm. Sprinkles and bits.
You kind of have to at this point.
For tax purposes.
For allegedly. But more to help with future seasons as well. So I think that's also part of it is like, yes, maybe it is technically more than when they were splitting prize pots before, but I will be shocked if the person that wins doesn't, unless it's somebody that knows this is their last season, they don't give a fuck.
Can I say what might be a very unpopular take here? I want that money to be the least amount it can be.
Oh, hilarious. Absolutely.
Like bring back, if you win, you get $100K.
Yeah.
Because honestly, people want, this show is so much better than the day. Because they weren't competing for $1 million.
Well, they also were like teams of 12 or some crazy shit.
They were, but they were getting prizes along the way. But also, it was never this amount of money. The game changed when it became life-changing money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to take it more serious. I'm not going to get blackout drunk and start fights. I mean, you want to see what changes. Change that prize pool of one winner goes home with 100K. Tell them all that before they show up. These people are fucking partying, drinking their face off, getting in fights, breaking up relationships, just immediately.
Yeah, I agree. The stupid little prizes were fucking hilarious, and I think that they should come back. Right. They were so funny. I loved them.
I get a T-Mobile sidekick?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I get a Zoom MP3 player? Great.
Like, I already got my in-ear fucking sunglasses that have headphones inside of them. I can start a fight now. I'm going home with my in-ear sunglasses. I'm fine.
Yeah, I got my pair of Oakleys. Great.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Fantastic. What? You gave me some ski goggles and a snowboard from whatever company that is? Great. I'm going to mix it up and start fighting people. Let's go.
I agree. Let's get blackout drunk and push people into the pool. I'm in there.
Throw clothes in the pool. Just the whole 9 yards, right? Just go for it. You know?
It's a serious lack of that.
Yeah, I don't need to be in great physical shape to do any of these dailies. I just need to be able to bend certain ways, right? I could be hungover and still do some carnival games. This would be great.
And this is why we love All-Star Short.
Just give it a chance.
It'd be so funny.
A chance.
Dude, what if they did that for the next season where it's like they just
stop.
They throw it all the way back.
Now you're like just teasing me. Now you're just showing me hot people with no clothes on. Just what a tease.
We could just pretend. You know, we can dream. If we could dream it, we can do it.
Man, season 40 and they have to do we're hitting the reset button and we're going back to the old school shit.
That would be amazing.
Writing, like, again, one of my favorite dailies ever. Julie from Real World New Orleans has to, like, pedal on this little kid's tricycle on this little, like, course. And there's, like, a little, if you guys know what it is, you know what I'm talking about. They would never do that again. They would never, that wouldn't be a thing we would do. But how much fun was that? Like, it was, she's like, I'm going to take this little beam right across, and she went immediately into the water. Just like, she didn't even get off she went immediately into the water. Ah, God. Okay, let's get to the big changes here. The big changes.
Yes. Last place purge. Make this an always thing, please. I loved this so much.
Great.
Especially with the people that were coming in last place this episode.
Yeah, let me just say, if this was some of our favorites, I wouldn't like this. Actually, I probably still would, but
it's so funny.
For this episode, it was great. For this episode, it was fantastic. And this is a great twist of you can't just be awful and continue to coast because of, your things. You can have one bad week and you're gone. You know, whatever happens. Great concept. Love this change. For now, until maybe one of our favorites potentially I could get snapped up by it. And
honestly,
I really like
Steven, people need to fucking go. There are entirely too many people for the episode that we were on. It is episode 15. And how many people did we start this episode with? 16 people? That's fucking insane.
So my next thing on here, Mixie, was this originally the plan? Do you think purging people at the end of the daily was the original plan, or did they have to change this because of the amount of people that was left?
I'm going to have to wait to see what the final is to be able to answer that question. I'm going to give production the benefit of the doubt and assume that this was part of their plan originally. Okay. What do you think?
I think that this was a back pocket. Like, if we need to pivot to do this, we can, because this is all things that would be timed as individuals that wouldn't take forever for us to be able to figure out, right?
Yeah.
Which means going forward, we're going to have more dailies like this. It can never be, we're spelling out things with upside down W's that apparently...
I'm all for it. This was a great daily. I loved this daily. It was super entertaining to watch. I got my little pin marks with names that I love. I really liked this. Although there was times where it was a little hard for me to understand what was going on. Like Raven was saying that her buoy was all wrapped up. Was it? Was she being an idiot? I'm going to go with option 2 just because of track record. But we won't know because we couldn't really see. When they dropped them from that boat.
Great.
Oh my God, amazing.
Great. Knocked the wind out of some people.
Yes, so good.
So good.
I loved every second of it. And Raven sucked immediately. It was fantastic. I knew in my heart it was either going to be Raven, Mariah, or Nerys because they were the 3 that can't swim.
Right. I just... Nerys said something that harkened back to one of my favorite moments of this season so far, was she tried to emulate the guy from The Office. Like, it's not that I can't hear. It's not that I can't... I just have trouble hearing when words are together. She kind of did that again this week when she was talking. It's not that I'm not great at swimming. I just don't like it. And it's like, okay, you're not great at swimming. Well,
you're not good at it. So that's kind of
listen,
the point.
It's not that I don't like dating beautiful women. I'm just not good at getting them to date me. That's what you're saying.
That is what she's saying. I'm going to have to agree with you on that. That is what she's saying. I loved Raven struggling. I also was super happy for Colleen. She kind of really wasn't very big in this episode, but she crushed this daily, and I want to give her a shout out because I love Colleen, and some people were questioning her abilities. Jay, fuck you. Colleen's good at this game. I'm saying
now, her running, though, seemed to be the problem in the last mini-final, so...
I would have liked to see where everybody landed on this daily time-wise, because I honestly think Colleen probably, she had to have been pretty tight with Jay. Jay did a shit job on this daily. For Mr. I'm in the ocean all the time.
That is a great point. I don't know why we don't get that. It's because they obviously hate us and they don't want us to be happy. That's all it is.
Duh.
That's all it is. Zaza, man, I love me some Zaza. Ugh. As we know at the end of this episode, it doesn't go too well for our girl Zaza.
Heartbreaking.
But as Raven struggled to basically do anything in Heat 1, we hear Zaza on the sideline. Just, I know she was trying to be nice, but it came off. She's just going, so come on, Raven. Remember, it's a timed event. Fucking Zaza.
I love her so much. Also, staple of a person needs to be back next season. Absolute need.
She didn't do that to try to be like, hey, it's a timed event. Haha. And then like laugh at people.
Yeah.
She was just like, hey, I just want a friendly reminder, babe. Timed event. So, you want to do well. It's great.
So good.
Heat 2, just the big thing that jumped out is, for the record, Mariah's heart was in her ass. I assume 80% of her body is her ass, so that's not too hard to
it makes
understand.
Sense. That's where her organs are. That's the only place that would have the space for it. So
it's how math works, as far as we know.
Dude, her going the wrong way, amazing. I want to get into this whole paddleboarding issue. Have you paddleboarded before?
I have not paddleboarded before. No.
Okay. Looking at it, does it seem like it's something that would be difficult? Have you been in, hold on. Have you been in a kayak or a canoe?
No. No, I have not.
Do you see how those things work, though?
Yes.
Okay, so, I mean, I am an A1 athlete, so maybe I'm just biased about it, but paddleboarding is not hard, and it's not hard to figure out once you're on it. If you paddle on one side, you go the other way. It's just like driving a car when you turn. I just don't understand how we're going in circles. It doesn't make sense to me.
I think she just couldn't get it moving to begin with in the first place. And then as soon as you don't have it moving, it's one of those things I also believe from seeing other people. If you put it too far in the water, you spin versus just kind of putting it in, and you have to make sure the angle that the thing goes at if you're turning it sideways, just like these white rider rafting people.
I'm just going to disagree. It's not that much of a fucking rocket science situation.
You're an athlete.
But it's just like swimming. Like if you were swimming and you only swim with your right arm, you're going to go to the left.
Should we get in a pool and try that? I'd really like to see how that goes.
I'm just saying, like, this is not like you're fucking like building a car to get an engine to start. You're fucking standing on a board that's meant to float, and you're given a stick that's meant to propel you. Figure it out. It doesn't make sense to me at all. I just don't get it. Maybe I'm insensitive. I mean, I am insensitive, but like, figure it the fuck out.
Obviously. Come on. Don't cut yourself short and be like, I'm not insensitive. Obviously.
I feel strongly that if I put you on a paddleboard, you could figure it out in less than 30 seconds.
I would tend to believe I could probably do that. I think the thing to me would just be like figuring out like body positioning, you know, like, am I just putting my legs in? I wouldn't be able to kneel on it. My knees would explode immediately.
Also, that's technically not how you're supposed to paddleboard.
No, you're supposed to stand up.
So all of them.
Shocked nobody stood up. Honestly, I don't think anybody was standing.
It's way easier to do it that way because the thing that you're saying, where you're like, if it's in too deep, you physically can't have it in too deep because you're standing.
Hey-o. Still talking about paddleboarding.
I'm just saying. Out of all of the difficult things that this show has required, paddleboarding is not one of them. It's just not.
It's just one of those things that every season where there's paddleboarding or canoeing or kayaking or whatever a water-based event that involves a paddle, it always goes wrong for at least one team. And another team just excels.
Not difficult.
The drama surrounding The Purge, as we talked about before, was amazing. It built the tension so smart. It came down to Raven and Mariah.
Win-win.
Win-win. Win-win. Did you have a feeling one way or another who this was going to be at this moment?
I was just thrilled at this point. You couldn't wipe the smile off my face. I wanted it to be Raven more than Mariah because I want Mariah to get called out for the bullshit that she's playing double sides and get fucked over that way versus getting fucked over this way. But I would have taken the W either way. I was fucking thrilled, though.
I'm going to say I knew it was Raven. And because we learned about her family and her dad's health issues, and I go, oh, if she's in the final two, it's her.
Yeah.
Because if there's something that the challenge does well, it's letting us know why people are there and why they're not going to get the money and why their family member or anybody associated with them will still continue to go through the same things they had before being on the show. And that's what they do the best. Oh, you would like this person to win because of their current struggle. Great. They're going home.
Yeah.
Sorry about it.
Well, they needed to do a last-ditch effort of people caring about Raven in any way, shape, or form, so I can understand why.
She just disappeared in the last couple episodes. It's just like...
It was great. I loved it. She's so fucking annoying to me.
I don't like her.
Nothing was sweeter than thinking back on all of the times that she's won dailies as a team, asterisk. She had yet to win a daily by herself. I just want to state that for the record again. And for her fucking ass to be all over Twitter and all in her fucking interviews being like, oh, I've won the most dailies. I have the most daily wins, blah, blah, blah. 1, no. 2, you had to have teammates with it. And 3, we finally get an individual challenge and you come in last.
And Mariah was going around in circles, apparently. Mariah was going in circles. She's going to be like, my clip. I already know the tweets now. Oh, I spent 20 hours trying to undo the clip. I think my clip was broken. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Hot people can't take any sort of, any sort of responsibility for anything that didn't go their way. My clip was broken. That's the only reason I did not excel. Blah, blah, blue.
I don't know. Maybe she can only excel when she's a part of the team. And people are going to be like, oh, she beat Laura in the... Do you know how many people were up in the stands telling her what the colors were?
What the colors were. Come on.
She is not good at this. I don't want to ever see her again. She drives me up a fucking wall.
Did you notice TJ did not happen to say, I'm sure we'll see you again? I was like, let's go, TJ.
Yeah, I think TJ doesn't like her either. She's fucking annoying.
I don't like her.
She's a little crybaby wah-wah, and then she acts like she's super great, and I fucking hate it.
It's not. I just don't. This is not a Raven podcast, if you haven't figured that out by now. We went in neutral. We went in neutral. There was no ill will going into it.
She Sarah'd me. She Sarah'd me hard. She came in, she put the little fucking Arby's visor on, she adjusted her assistant manager at Arby's name tag on her chest, and she fucking dug her own grave. Fuck her. I don't care. I'm so happy she's gone.
She's like, you want 2 big beef and cheddars with a side of jalapeno poppers? Is that what you ordered? I'm like, no, I didn't order any of that. As a matter of fact.
God damn it.
Damn it, D. Stupid bitch.
Stupid goddamn bitch. Goddamn bitch.
Oh, God.
Ed won.
Ed won. Hooray, Ed. Who did you think won going into that? I'll ask you the same question. Were you betting on Horacio or Ed?
I thought maybe Horacio.
I did too.
I'm thrilled for Ed, though. It makes me really happy. I mean, honestly, I'm really starting to feel bad for Horacio and Kyland. I don't like Kyland, but he is doing, like, really, at the end of the day, not much wrong to deserve this. But they can't get upset because there's the scared game of it all. So, I feel a little bad for them. I kind of want Jay out at this point, so I might start low-key rooting for them, but I don't want that to result in an Ed issue.
I don't feel bad for him. I just don't. Here's why. Horacio loves competing. As a matter of fact, they're probably doing Horacio a favor. Horacio's like, if I don't go into elimination, I just sit around the house and do more things I don't like doing, like having Nerys just smile at me constantly, which is just. So he's just loving this, by the way. Yeah. He's just like, yeah, sure, I'll do some more eliminations, whatever. I'm really good at them. Yeah. I'm really good at them now. And so, as a matter of fact, he hasn't lost one yet.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost one yet in his whole challenge career. He's been in, I think now, 5, 6, maybe 6 times. Hasn't lost one yet.
It's impressive.
It's very impressive. So, as a matter of fact, I think he likes that. For Kyland, this is, this, I think this is comeuppance for just, randomly saying shit when he doesn't have to.
I don't disagree with that. That it's annoying, for sure.
It's annoying. So, that's what happens here. I thought it was going to be Horacio. It's Ed, obviously, Team Ed podcast here. Obviously, at the number 1, Team Ed.
Duh.
And then TJ explains what's going to happen going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And again, shout out production for this. Shout out production. It's not like you're just going to pick one person to go in. No. That's not how we're doing this. You're going to pick one. They're going to pick the other. Very elementary school vibes here. Love this concept until it's down to 3 people.
Yep.
And then those 3 people go do it privately somewhere
I love
else.
it. I fucking love it. No notes.
That's it. No notes.
Not a singular one.
We always have notes for production. No notes.
No notes. I loved it.
Shocking. You know what? Congratulations, production.
Very happy for them. They needed a W, honestly.
They did. They've been waiting a long time to get a W from the number 1, and they got it. Obviously, they're going to play this clip around B&M headquarters.
Yeah.
The number 1. We're on a loop there anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just to try to make people better at their jobs. They're like, listen, it's bulletin board material, as you would say in football.
They're going to pop bottles when this episode comes out. They're going to be like, we did it.
I can't wait for Twitter to just still be upset.
They will.
Blah, blah. I can't think of what blah, blah.
God, Twitter? Hello? Is that
sorry.
you?
Infiltrated. It's me, Elon. Right here.
Oh my God. I was super pumped for this, and it turned out to be super entertaining, like I had the feeling it was going to be.
Yeah.
Loved it.
And Jay, they wanted to make it seem like it was obviously just Jay coming up with this plan of having to have Nerys say one of her friends to do whatever it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
And before that, we're on the boat. They get to hang out on the boat and have a lovely time on the boat.
Yeah.
Want to see more of these, by the way.
Agreed.
Let them go out every day. Let them have some fun, right? Film it. Do whatever you want.
Get them fucked up. They're all drinking water.
Just get them fucked up, man. Come on.
Boo.
They should have to take 2 drinks on that boat.
Yeah, at least.
At
minimum.
least 2
a
drinks.
drink minimum.
You can either drink or you can take a shot. You have to take both at a certain time, right? Like, we're on this boat for 3 hours. You can get loaded on the way in.
Yep.
Or you can do it right at the end. But you got to take 2 before you get off the boat. If
Only
not,
fair.
the boat, like, continues down the river.
Yeah. You get
And
dropped
you gotta-
off. You got to swim back.
They just take you back to the United States at that point if you don't take your drink. New purge.
I love it.
Nerys is saying on the boat, as she's talking with Olivia there, she's saying that her friends, I'm going to read this because this was a little tough to kind of get at, and that's why I wanted to bring this up.
Go ahead. Please read it. I didn't zone out at this point at all. Go ahead.
Nerys saying her friends personally, because of her choice, sorry, that's what I wrote here. Because of her choice of who she picked, her friends are acting like they're not her friends, right? That they took that choice personally and not as a game move. And now they're acting like they're not friends. So I think she's specifically referring to Jay. Don't know why she just wouldn't say Jay at this point.
Well, I think she's also referring to Mariah as well, because Mariah's alliance does include Mariah, but it does not include Nerys in the graphic. So
It does not. And we have to have a graphic to fully understand stuff.
Exactly.
I just wish they would have shown throughout the season the graphic of the alliances. And then every week, just like there's people like in the middle and like people are jumping over.
That'd
And
be
it's
so
like
funny,
maybe.
like a bottom bar.
Yeah, like a Venn diagram, right? And there's just like somebody in the middle of both of them. And then there's like one down at the end that's just floaters, you know? I would like to see that next time.
That would be nice.
Take notes. And she said that Olivia hasn't stabbed her in the back. And I go, okay, are is this where we're getting it? Is this where it's going to happen?
No.
No, it wasn't.
Nope.
I was like, okay, is this where it goes down? The entire time, Nixie, up until they actually picked, I go, even though Horacio is saying, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Say one of the ladies. I thought she's going to pick Horacio, save Horacio. And then Nerys's excuse for hating Olivia this whole time has been like, well, I heard from my brother that you said something.
That's still the excuse. Steven, that is 100% what's happening next episode. That is still the excuse because she brought it up. She was like, there's still that thing in the back of my head of what I was told by my brother. Fuck that, by the way.
But obviously, again, you guys have already seen it. We haven't. We're just speculating at this point.
It's what it is.
I think Olivia is going to be put in that role this time. And Olivia is going to not say Nerys. And Nerys is like, I got you last week or you would have gone home. I think that's what's going to happen.
Interesting.
I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to come down to Olivia next week and not Nerys. And Olivia is going to choose to save somebody that's not Nerys.
I think Nerys is going to go and talk to somebody and say that what she heard from her brother. And then Jay is going to use that as like, okay, you could come back. Let's fuck over Olivia or something like that.
Oh my goodness. I want to know if you guys like us speculating about this right now. Because you've already seen it. You're like, guys, you're going to talk about it.
Yeah, that is true. We are
anyway.
in like 20 minutes. We're going to be talking about it at that point. But
so I don't know. Hotties, let us know. You have the opportunity to like let us know how you feel about these things coming up.
Nerys, Ed, and Zaza are sitting at the kitchen table, and Nerys and Zaza are trying to convince Ed to come over to their side with honestly valid points. They're sitting at the table, everybody's chatting. The camera just starts panning for no reason. And we just get a random shot of Mariah's ass. I'll take it. Fuck it. Who cares? Play the song. Ass of the week. Of the week. I mean, there was no reason. There was no reason for that shot. They're literally Ed, Nerys, Zaza sitting at the table having a conversation. The camera just pans to Mariah's ass in some gray shorts, and then just comes back. No reason for it, other than to make me give her ass of the week.
There you go.
I was gonna give it to Zaza. There was pancake ass on the paddleboard out of Zaza, but I mean, that shot was just specifically to make Mariah ass of the week. There's no
Obviously.
other reason for it.
I mean, I don't know why anybody thinks otherwise.
It was, I was like laughing to myself. Like, they just had to hand me that. Like, there is truly, I know we speculate like, oh, they did this, they did that. I truly think I would die on the hill if they put that in there for me. There was no other reason for that shot.
I would like everybody else to wonder when you see certain things on the show that you go, oh, that's definitely for the number one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm just still shocked why more people aren't listening. It's probably because they know technically we're like the enemy now, right? I mean,
think so.
Obviously people in our mentions who are clearly probably work for MTV just trying to take us down. They could be disciples of Tim Apple after we bested Tim Apple. Now they're just like, oh, we're just going to fill up your mentions and your TikTok comments with just terrible takes for you guys to rebuttal with. But here's the thing. Always right here at the number one. Just, you're the ones in the Delulu world, just changing your opinion whenever you want it to suit the people that you like.
I don't let it get to me. I more enjoy the fact that I randomly was given a clip of Mariah's ass for quite honestly no other reason outside of they wanted me to give her ass of the week.
See, now I'm thinking the cameraman just got distracted and was like, oh, ass. And was like, forgot
honestly, though,
what his job was.
The clip
right?
the clip kind of has that vibe to it.
Yeah. He's like,
it
Mariah's
does have
here.
that vibe.
Yeah. It's like a guy, he kind of forgot he was recording and just like.
Unnecessary.
His.
Wildly unnecessary.
His brain was like, oh, ass. And he was like, oh, shit, I'm recording.
Yes, and then they pan back, and it's just, it is exactly that. And it's like, why did they use it? Then the editor was like, oh, Mariah's ass. Wait, hold on. We have a conversation. Let's pan that back. Hold on.
Sorry. And he got distracted, too.
Yes, that's
like,
why it's in the edit.
Oh, my God.
So
I
funny.
forgot. I left it in the edit. Oh,
so
God.
funny.
What are we going to do?
Anyways, yes, Dad came. Dad shows up in his polo.
Love it.
Being a dad.
It's like, oh, my God. He's like, let's go right now.
Uh-huh.
And then
Love it
everybody
again.
changes.
Love it again. Yeah, uh-huh.
I would like it better if they just made them like, get out of the pool right now.
Don't even get out of the pool. You have to do it in the pool. Just walks right up. Okay,
Wherever
voting.
you're
Ed,
at.
what's up?
Everybody come out. We're just going to go around. Everybody reach into this bowl. You're going to pick a number, and that's the order you're going to vote. After that, we got some refreshments inside. The pizza from Domino's is on the way, It would be some
funny.
of you old school people right now would be like, Domino's, not Little Caesars. Little Caesars is dead to us. Okay.
Yeah.
They had a deal with the number one that they kind of went back on. And so dead to us, even though still hot and ready takes like the number one. Anyhow, old school. Shout out old school people. Okay. The vote starts. It's going the way they wanted. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting it to go south at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't. It gets to Nerese, and Nerese is pissed at Jay for, quote, putting her in this position. Sure. He put you in this position. Hot Girl 101. Hot Girl 101. Just never admit any fault of your own for anything you've done. Always somebody else's fault.
I agree with that. I will say, I think Corey said it best. He said it feels a little bit scummy to do that to a friend. Nerese wasn't point blank pointing out Jay to be like, hey, I'm going to fuck over Jay. It just so happened that Jay was fucked over. Jay put a full-blown plan together with his stupid little fucking smirk on his balding head face, and he was like super fucking happy to make this awful situation for her. That's the difference to me. And I agree with Corey. Again, who are we agreeing with Corey yet again? It was a scummy thing to do to a friend.
What a redemption story for Corey, by the way, at this moment.
Truly.
I mean, there was 1 week, I think, episode 3 that were like, oh, Corey is definitely out next week or the week after that. He's the guy that they keep putting in. And he is looking so fucking comfy right now.
Whose dick did he suck to get out of that hole he was in?
I don't know.
That Gluck Gluck got to be real fucking good.
I feel like he is like the Frogger, just like bouncing around, just trying to like move behind trucks just to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Well executed plan. Also, it doesn't hurt when other people start jumping ship from the alliance, and then you can be like, oh, well, I'm still true over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hide behind all of those people.
That's exactly.
I was upset. Olivia was like, I have to walk away so I don't blow up. I was like, blow the fuck up, girl. Stand right there. Why are you moving?
It's just what happened at this point.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. I really enjoyed it because, again, it made for great television. I'm thinking this is when it's going to happen. And then I'll be like, I just don't feel like I'm going to get the payoff that I want for this falling out of a friendship.
I don't think we're going to see it.
Yeah, every time that we think it's going to be a certain thing, it hasn't been. Like, this would have been the perfect opportunity to be like, hold on, hold on. What happened here? Is this the reason? And then is this the reason? Maybe next week.
I'm just really hoping that if it doesn't come out next week, which I don't think it will, I hope that the information that we are privy to, that the world is not, comes out either in this season or at the reunion. Because boy, do I want people to know what actually happened more than anything. But guys, we can't tell you, and I hate that I can't because it's boiling in me. It's boiling.
There is enough breadcrumbs on the internet.
There is.
If you want to know.
But I feel like we see the breadcrumbs because we know.
Yeah.
It's worth the dig, guys. Let's all just say a little prayer that the correct information comes out at the reunion. Because, boy, I want it.
If not, right, it's a major cover-up job from MTV.
Yes. And
right?
If not, we will do our best to get it okay.
To unravel it for you.
Unravel it here on the number one.
We'll do a little, like, fetish thing. We're just slowly pulling the strings out for you, right? Who knows?
Maybe.
There might be people who want to talk about it at some point. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
We won't know. We don't know anything.
We don't know. Sorry.
I want to get to the elimination. The three of them are standing there.
Yeah.
And Mr. TJ is there. They're in a random field. We love random fields. Big random fields fans. Wish it was an open body of water that he was screaming next to, but we got an open field, and that's still on brand. It
is. I do want to ask you one question, though, however, because of who Nerys picked.
Yes.
Nerys was crying. She was very upset that she was put in this position.
Her boobs looked great, though. Continue.
I mean, if we're being honest, when do they not?
Facts.
I mean,
they're just so round. Go ahead.
Also, information I told Mixie about before we even started this podcast. I finally saw like Renee Rapp last night on SNL for like the first time.
Yeah.
Speak about a great rack.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
She is stunning.
Yes.
I kept hearing her name and things. I knew she was in the Mean Girls movie, right? I knew she'd done it on Broadway.
It's not a movie, it's a musical, but yes.
Sure, it's a movie musical, same thing.
No, fuck that. It's not the same thing. Musicals suck, movies are entertaining. Those are the difference.
Poll this week. Is the Mean Girls movie a movie musical, or is it just a movie?
It's a musical. If they're singing more than once, actually, honestly, if they're singing at all, it's a musical.
Right. So, but you're saying the new movie that she's in, the Mean Girls movie.
No. It's a musical.
Okay. But it's not a movie.
No. It could be a musical movie, but it's not a movie. You cannot refer to it as a movie. It's either a musical or a musical movie.
Okay. So a movie musical not allowed.
Sure, fine. You just have to put musical in it.
Yeah. But
it's not a movie.
I was doing it to try to make sure we knew the difference between her being on the Broadway musical and the movie that just came out, which happens to also be a movie musical, if I've used the terminology correct now.
But you just said before that she was in the movie. She's in the musical movie or the movie musical. She's not in a movie because it's a musical. And
everybody
I don't
follow
appreciate
that? Everybody good?
I don't appreciate. Put me on my high horse. I don't appreciate how it was marketed and pushed in a way that was not clear that it was a musical, because people go to the movie and they were like, what the fuck? Now, was I understanding it was a musical? Yes, because I don't have 3 brain cells. I have at least 5. But for those that are 4 and under, they struggled with that information.
I think that was the direct plan, is because I don't think they
100%.
thought people would go see a musical.
Then don't make a musical. It's that easy.
I agree with you. I don't know why we needed this, but
we didn't.
Okay.
That's why.
I mean, it existed on Broadway.
Yes,
and
where musicals should be.
I think they were like, oh, they're making a Wicked movie musical. Let's.
Also, shouldn't exist. Make a movie or don't do it.
I'm going on the record. That Wicked movie musical is going to be awful. It's not going to be what anybody wants it to be. And all we're going to see is cheating Ariana Grande the entire time with the little guy that she stole from the wife.
Yep. That's what happens when you make a fucking musical. This is what happens. I don't mind her music, but she's a horrible person.
Listen, her music's okay, but as a person, awful.
I can separate it. There are other artists that I don't feel comfortable saying.
I got it. We know who those people are.
Okay. We're in the field. Zara goes off about James, and I was losing it.
Great. Oh. James is a little bitch. I'm unfollowing him. I love it. Now, she said it like jokingly. Actually, you know what?
I gotta check. That's what I was supposed
to Fact check. We're going to go. We're doing this live at the moment. Zaza. Let's see who she's following. Let's see if either me or Mixie figure it out first. James.
I don't know James's last name.
Oh, she's a lying sack of shit. Still following him.
No.
Hold on. Is that? Oh, yep. Following. She's following James Locke. Zaza, you liar.
Is he following her?
Great question. Great.
I'm
follow-up.
checking.
Follow up.
Yep.
He is?
They are following each other. As of now when we're recording, but I could see her going real quick into Instagram.
Should we message her and reach out and be like, yo,
I think we need to DM her right now.
We got to protect our girl Zaza.
Yeah, we got to let Zaza know she's got to follow through on that. She's not going to look good.
It made the edit, so you got to do it. We don't want people saying you're a liar.
Yeah.
We'll reach out to our girl Zaza, and we'll let her know about it.
Here's what I want. I want a Zaza Bananas team up to fucking destroy James.
They put season 40 or anything in the future is like teams. Give me those two against those two.
Oh, what a great team, just generally speaking, would that be? But then for them to like go after James and Mariah, would that be amazing?
Okay, I'm going to play out a new idea that I just had in my head that feel free to steal MTV. I don't think anybody's thought of this. Give me a team tournament for the challenge.
Ooh, I like that.
We have a bracket style system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We still play the game.
Yeah.
But each week, teams are going to go into the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And you can change your position for your seeding based off how it goes for the week or something like that.
I like
this. The entire season is some sort of tournament of eliminations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're just bracketing, you're just moving forward until we get, the
final
this seed
teams.
versus that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yep. Certain teams if you win an elimination or you win a daily, your team gets a bye seeding wise,
Think about how great that would be. And then think about the fact that they just made the Challenge USA.
I don't want to, but I don't want to.
Like that could have existed, but they did the Challenge USA. Anyways, we get into
Good job, Paramount, Viacom, whatever your name is now.
We get into this 3-prong obstacle course situation, which I was excited for. But all of a sudden they start running and there's blocks. And Kyland is like parkour rolling off these blocks. And I'm like, where are we? What are we doing? I thought this was an obstacle course. Why is there blocks?
He's just rolling over them. So there was obviously there was something in front of that before you got to the spokes, if you will.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And he got there first. He was the fastest one there. He was running. And then he's like, what I would do is just like roll over the blocks. Meanwhile, Horacio is just like clearing them. He's like doing actual box jumps over these impressively tall boxes. And he's just like clearing them like a fucking little bunny.
Dude, he's so fucking athletic and hot. It's insane. Insane.
God damn it, he's good. It's unbelievable how athletic this guy is.
I get it, Nerys. I do.
I get it. We don't want to see it anymore, but
we don't want to see it, but we get it. And there was very little Nerys Horacio in this episode, and I appreciated that. Again, we're saying this was a good episode. What are the reasons?
You guys know. You guys know.
It was an intense elim.
That's great. We saw a lot of it. It was devoted time-wise a lot to this episode, which I really enjoyed.
The challenge USA Sudoku came back. People actually did it this time. Exciting.
And I think they gave them instructions on how to do it for a change, which is great in case you didn't know how to do it.
How do you not know whatever? How do you not know how to work a paddleboard? We ask these questions.
We ask these questions that we think people know, but they don't. They don't. Now, I have to say, you said you were starting to feel a little bad for Horacio and Kyland.
Yeah.
And then Horacio and Kyland help each other out. Basically, starting to push out our girl Zaza.
Yes.
And I'm not here for that.
Okay.
I am not here for that.
I hear you. But I would devil's advocate this. I feel like if Kyland and Zaza were at the same station, or if Horacio and Zaza were at the same station, they would have just chatted through that one. I really, truly feel that way. I think it just so happened that it was Kyland and Horacio there. I believe Horacio when he said there wasn't a conversation that was had. It just happened.
No. I don't think they went into that saying this because they didn't know what the puzzles were.
Yeah.
But when you got there, they still, correct me if I'm wrong, they still had one more to do after that, right?
They both had to do the colored one, which you really can't help the other person with.
Right. So to me at that point, I'm questioning whether I would help somebody else out by saying it aloud. It's not like I just said all nine out loud randomly. They clearly were saying them back and forth. So at that point, they were like, okay, it's us. It's not like, oops, I said 27 and that was the answer. And the other person wrote down 27. They gave them one answer. They worked that out together while there was still one more puzzle.
I don't know. That was the easiest puzzle out of all of them, in my opinion. I feel like they just were talking out loud. I do. I mean, I agree. There was clearly they were helping each other. There was clearly they were there helping each other. Yes. But I don't think that it was thought out. I don't think that it was a thing. I feel like probably what happened is one of them under their breath was like, I'm missing one. And then the other one heard that, they're friends, and just started reading out loud what they had. Because they like Zaza. I can't imagine. I agree. But I can't imagine that they would have. But like, they weren't. She did that one first, so they couldn't have helped her with that. They didn't know what it was. She was stuck on the Sudoku. I mean, they can't help her with that. You have to sit there and like look at it.
I agree with you 100% on that. I'm wondering if they all started on the same thing, whether they all helped of each other. I'm thinking they obviously see Zaza as a threat, and they were both there, and they're like, hey, we can both move forward to the third one, kind of like, if we want to, because technically she's a little bit further ahead than we are. She's already working on that. Like, I think that word puzzle, you could like really get stuck in your head. That moving the other things is just, you can see what's going on.
So I guess my confusion on that word puzzle was, maybe I missed it. Did it say it needed to be body parts?
I think it did. I think they said that. Yeah, because you.
So then I think even more at that point,
you don't need help.
Yeah.
How many words are there?
So I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I think that it just so happened that they both were there and kind of like helped each other out. I don't think it was like a plot against Zaza.
No, but them helping each other out did go against Zaza. And that,
it did, but I don't think it was like an intentional situation. Yeah. I also am curious how long it took Zaza to get over that wall.
Oh, that poor
and if
girl.
she had gotten over that wall in the like on her first try, if she was closer than we thought she was. I almost teared up when TJ was rooting for her to get over that wall. It was so sweet. I've never heard him go that hard to root for somebody. Again, nobody else is there to cheer her on, so maybe that's why he felt a bit more like he needed to say something.
Next week, whether we have that same issue or the end of this episode, whether he'll be there, that person, which I think they need to do that. But the fact that she was like, oh, I'm just going to take my shoes off. She was getting her body in positions. I don't think I've been able to get my body in that position since I was 2 years old. It's
impressive.
She's an impressive human being she is.
She's incredible. I'm sad to see her go, but I definitely think we'll see her back. I mean, I was shocked at how openly Mr. TJ was talking about how he thought they were the 3 best in the house. And I was like, she's
built for this television show.
She 100% is.
Built for this television show. Every once in a while, you'll get a person like every other season that you go, this is a mainstay for a while.
Yeah.
We got Horacio, who doesn't really play the other side of the game all that well, but is a great competitor. We got Zaza now, 2 years ago. Now this year is a full season. She's entertaining to watch.
I would put Ed in that category as well. I fucking love Ed.
Yeah, if Ed wants to do it, I think it's there for him.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, she took her shoes off. She's getting up there. You're right, Mr. TJ just being like, you're right there. We're right there. Just going hard for the people. I loved it so much to be able to hear it. Mm-hmm. It was sad because at that point you kind of
knew.
Yeah. You were like, oh God, there's no way they're going to slip up on that thing. Yeah, I think that's why she saved the math for the Sudoku for the end. She was like, hopefully I can get a big enough lead so I'm not stressing. I don't have to do this one first and then realize I'm just completely out of it, which I thought was a good strategy for her.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really sad. We love our girl Zaza.
We do. We love you, Zaza. Big fan. But ending on that L, that's the end of the episode. We will get into episode 16, Family Knows Best.
God,
it was a really good episode, though. I want to stress that again, though. Fantastic episode.
It was. Look how long we've gone on this episode. We don't usually go this long on one episode, and it was just so many things that unfolded. Just a great episode of television, I think, from top to bottom.
It really was. It was fantastic.
The only thing they kept out, which I guess makes sense, is the beginning of the episodes will now be the people coming back into the house. And that's what starts, the thread that starts the next episode is seeing them come back in.
Yeah, which honestly will be nice that we start the episode with something exciting and not everybody being like, rah, rah, rah.
Well, also, I thought it was very interesting that they did the elimination during the day.
Yes.
Which never happens. It's always in an arena. Which also, I'm now wondering, going forward, whether this is what it's going to be. This little obstacle coursey thing, and then 3 little puzzles you have to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It seems like that's what we're going to have. And honestly, I'm here for it because they can't be physical things because they're putting up men against women. And then,
yeah, I think it was fair.
And that was my last question on here is, do you think that this was fair?
I do. And I honestly think that it would be fun and sort of funny if they just kept the exact same obstacle course with the exact same puzzles. And then if you've already gone in, you have a bit of a leg up.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they will, but it would be interesting.
It would be interesting.
It looks like they've kind of built that to be their thing for a little bit.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I'm okay with that. We're just swapping out the little puzzles that you have to do.
Yeah.
And maybe some of the things you have to climb over or whatever. And that'll be our elimination. So.
Yep.
Let's get ready for the next episode. We're going to do our usual transition here on YouTube. All right. You ready?
Ready.
Here we go.
I'm ready.
Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hey. Oh, man. Those transitions are fun over here on YouTube, guys.
Oh, wow.
Man, we're over here on part 2 of this episode. Now we know what we were just talking about that we didn't know a few minutes ago.
Uh-huh.
We now know. And wow.
I would like to say we were right.
Yeah.
We knew that there was going to be about the Olivia thing. Now, we didn't really know what was going to happen. And I don't think that anybody could have guessed this was going to be the turn that it took. But it was the turn that it took.
It took a turn that was unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
In a slightly unexpected but expected way. Because I think we all kind of felt like, at least me and you, when we were chatting about this, not on the pod, we were like, it has to be something about Olivia probably not voting for Nerys or Horacio to save him.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes in and he leaves. And it's something about that, right? It has to be something like that. Or her vote makes them face off against each other and they both. And that's kind of what that is. But before we get into all that, I just want to let you guys know our good friend, Mr. Marky Mark from Temptation Island. First of all, congratulations. Show is getting picked up on Netflix next
Netflix,
season.
guys. Netflix.
Now, I don't want to say the number one had anything to do with that, but just saying.
We did not.
And I think Netflix heard about the number one and they're like, the number one deserves finally to be recapping his show on Netflix. So technically we're on Netflix next year, boys and girls.
I see the direct correlation. And congratulations to us for getting on Netflix, Steven.
That's right. Congratulations to us. Feel free to send us messages. If you want to leave a review on iTunes being like, hey, congratulations on Netflix, just to throw people off who are just trying to look at us for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, hi to a whole bunch of new people who are listening to us. Welcome to the number one, part 2 of the number one. So
yes,
I do want to say Mr. Marky Mark, good friend of the podcast, does have a podcast going on.
Yes.
We think you should go check it out because
you need to.
If you like those life lessons that he was giving you on Temptation Island, you're going to get some of those.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Bonfire Talks. I mean,
we love a good bonfire, especially with Mr. Marky Mark.
So if you want to go listen to that, he gets deeper as the episodes go on. Heyo, pun intended. And you can just listen, learn. It's one of those good ones. I listened to it. He's had people from the show on before in terms of the people behind the scenes. It's just good. It's, you know what it is? It helps me remember how much I like him.
Yes.
During the off season.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That like brightness that you get in the pit of your stomach when he first walks out on the first episode of Temptation Island of the season.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, like that bright ray of sunshine is back in your life. You guys get that weekly with his episodes from his podcast.
Now, here's the thing we don't get. We don't get to see what type of fresh kicks he's wearing, unfortunately.
You can't win them all.
The audio version. But I'm just saying, I think about what type of fresh kicks he's wearing.
You can sit there and daydream as you listen to his voice.
What type of Jordans is he rocking today? You know? So he got the Air Force Ones. Which versions of those does he got going on? You know what I mean?
You guys really should check out his podcast. He's been telling us behind the scenes that he's been working on this for a while. We're really happy for him that he got it up and running. It's fantastic. You will not regret it.
I tried to get him as part of the Right Reality umbrella.
We did.
He's too big time for us right now, you know?
And we get that.
We understand. You know, he wants to make a little money off of it. So, you know, I'm going to do it. All right. Part 2, which is what number episode now? Is this 16?
Episode 16 of season 39 of the challenge Battle for a New Champion. Family knows best.
Do they, though?
Was it even family?
Does Nerys's brother really know best? Or was this information fed to him by, some might say, an unreliable, maybe biased source?
But we, allegedly.
Allegedly, maybe. You know what I mean? So
God, I hope it comes out. Fingers crossed, everybody.
God, I want it to. Here's the thing. When it
it's
does,
not
I think
Sarah.
we're going to be like, I mean, okay. So coming up on part 2 of this episode, I want to do a little reset here because we're pretty deep into this recording now. We visit the corner for the first time all year.
Ayo. It's quarter time.
The corner is back. We will visit the corner. We will play a game of, do these two phrases mean the same thing?
Oh, boy.
And we pick our favorite way Michelle got at James and Mariah.
Oh, that's fun.
That's a fun game to be coming up. All that, and of course, everything else
that happened this episode. Everything that happened this episode. Boy, oh boy, was this a banger of an episode.
This episode we just watched and the episode you just heard her talking about are 2 absolute great moments of television. And you know what? I try to deal with the competition sometimes, But there are some people who I've listened to their last episode, and they're like, "This is the biggest piece of shit." And I was like, "What? Did we watch the same television show, my guy?"
I'm finally really enjoying this. Like, there was points where we were all kind of looking around like, what the fuck are these eliminations? Yeah. But we are finally getting, honestly, this third tier layer ladder thing is what they should have been doing the whole time.
Yeah, but I don't think we appreciate it enough if it didn't
probably
happen.
But this is like chef's kiss part of the season right now. We should be enjoying it, and we are going to enjoy it by recapping it right now.
You know what it is? It's one of that, you go to a fine dining restaurant after you eat at Applebee's your entire life. Sorry, Applebee's. And then they like all the food comes out and you're like, I want to eat this slowly and enjoy each bit of my steak. Look at this perfectly cooked, chicken breast or pork chop. Shout out pork chops. And you eat it and you're like, oh, these mashed potatoes. And you're not just like, shoving it in your fucking gullet. You're like, I want to enjoy this. And that's what I've done with these 2 episodes. I think that's what most of us have done. It's just so enjoyable to taste. So let's start with, I guess, the appetizer of this episode. We start with some exclusive behind-the-scenes audio directly into the Right Realities newsroom right here on the number one that you guys will only hear. You will only hear. Now, this is a conversation, I will say, that may have been given to us from somebody on the bus coming back from elimination.
Oh.
I can't out my sources, but it involves Kyland and Horacio. Okay. So I will now play some behind the scenes exclusive audio to the number one. Here we go.
Oh boy.
What's up, guys? It's Kyland. Hey, Horacio, guess what we should do? We should play a prank on them when we come back. You know what we should do? We should pretend that we didn't battle together, and they'll never figure it out. What do you think about that, Horacio? Yeah, I think that might be good. I don't really see how that works, but you seem pretty sure of it. So maybe I'll do that. Can I let Nerys know what really happened? Sure, man. You can do whatever you want. Behind the scenes exclusive audio. Definitely not me.
No.
Definitely not me doing any of that. I know you might think it's me, but it's not.
No, it was not. I can attest.
What do they think was going to happen here? What was this strategy?
Okay. I don't feel like that this was a strategy. I'm going to look at it from the point of view of it was just kind of fucking funny. However, I do think that them doing this and getting the reactions that they got out of Nerys and Olivia and all of the people that were freaking out. I think Bertha was crying. People were in hysterics. As someone that produces things, if you look at that, what's going to happen? A light bulb's going to go off in your head like, damn, maybe we should eliminate 2 people and only have 1 person come back. Do you see how these people are reacting? We got people crying. We got Ed going, fuck yeah, 2 and 1.
Like, Olivia's a bubbling mess. Now, maybe there was some alcoholic beverages consumed.
I'm sure.
Period, right? Maybe that happened. Maybe that led to more things happening. Who knows? But I was just like, am I supposed to believe Horacio's not going to tell Nerys immediately? Oh, hey, we actually did. I'm supposed to believe Horacio's going to lie to Nerys and be like, hey, we were just fucking with everybody. We did compete together. Don't tell anyone. And she's not going to tell anyone. I'm choosing not to buy that structure.
Also, is like Horacio supposed to just like sleep on the driveway so that nobody sees him? Like,
I thought of that at first. I'm like, what is he just gonna like not show up and just hang out and just appear again at the thing? He's gonna walk back in. Oh, we competed separately. And it's like, I think that people watch like we only have 1 camera team, guys. They're not gonna send dual camera teams to 2 separate. Like, look, I don't know who came back. I mean, and again, after the first time, it's blown completely out of the water. But you know what? That's what our guy Kyland does. He's just, a constant innovator.
He is something. Like I said, I thought it was funny. I think that it blew up in his face and he said that. I also truly do think this is why there was a double elimination. Okay. I think it's one of the reasons, because that was like a huge, they got a bunch of shots that I'm sure they used in trailers of people crying. I mean, that's gold for them.
Oh, you need all the reactions you can get. And Kyland was like, let me just get some more reactions.
Yeah.
Let me just light them up for a little bit of a storm here. He is just like, Berna Bertha said something. He's like, well, Berna Bertha, if you would have voted for me, maybe this wouldn't have happened. And then, again, Kyland, not great in social scenarios, goes, my brain works with logic, end quote. Okay. Don't really know what that means. I guess it means it doesn't work on emotion, but that's neither here nor there. He was saying basically like, oh, if you would have voted for me, it would have that. Olivia goes, hey, he was making a joke. And Berna Bertha is like, no, he was being passive aggressive. Mixie, I ask you. Passive aggressive or making a joke?
Passive aggressive.
Clearly passive aggressive.
Cut and dry passive aggressive.
I feel like Olivia was like his lawyer. Like, my client was making a joke.
Objection, Your Honor. Joking.
He's got blood on his hands. He clearly murdered someone. He's got some chickens that he likes to, butcher for stuff.
Well, and then our girl Michelle, she is always on Berna Bertha watch. Did you see her jump up and get Berna Bertha out of there?
Right.
She does not sleep. She is 24/7 on the clock, making sure Berna Bertha doesn't fucking implode.
She is Berna Bertha's Secret Service. She's just our Secret Service detail. She's like, nope, we gotta go. She's like, she put her finger up to her. Hey, we gotta go.
Oh, Berna Bertha's freaking out.
Nope, we gotta go. Let's go in the bathroom real quick. We gotta go.
And then we got a lot of Berna Bertha, and I was getting a little nervous. And then we got a lot about Emmanuel, and I was like, oh boy, what's happening here?
Listen, when Berna Bertha was going against Kyland, I don't think I've ever been more team Berna Bertha in my life. I was ready to get a Berna Bertha tattoo, honestly.
Right on your forehead. Right
on the forehead. Just tattoo it on there. Team Berna Bertha. So, Mixie, I have to ask you another question as it relates to Kyland. Because, again, he's not great at social scenarios, which, if he was, these would be easier to answer, right? Mm-hmm. Because he's not good in social scenarios. Now, Kyland claimed that he told Berna Bertha to be quiet and not shut up. Because he said, you need to be quiet. And she goes, you don't tell me to shut up. He goes, listen, I told you to be quiet. I didn't tell you to shut up. Now, just as a reminder of the rules of the game, he's not great in social scenarios. So his brain works with logic. Mm-hmm. So taking those two things into account. Is telling someone to shut up and telling someone to be quiet two different things, as he claims?
No, it's not. And it is, however, what I have been accused of in my personal life at some points, pedantic. That is your word of the day, everyone. Pedantic. I got accused of it, and now I use it all the time because it's a great word. Do you know what that word means, Steven? Or is this going to be another gas station thing where I explain something that you already know?
I actually don't know what it means.
Guys, I did it. Sound off the alarms. Sound off the Jeopardy sound. Or is that Wheel of Fortune? I don't even know. I finally got it. Are you looking up the word pedantic?
I'm looking up pedantic, and you know what? Unfortunately, Google needs to get their shit together. Of or like pedant. Not helpful.
So
not helpful.
Being pedantic, to my understanding.
I see it now. I see it now.
Being very selective with your words. So something like telling, I didn't say for you to shut up. Did he not say that? He didn't say those words, but he did say that.
You said it.
So being pedantic is saying, I didn't say exactly those words, but you did say it.
Someone who annoys others by correcting small errors, caring too much about minor details, or emphasizing their own expertise, especially in some small, narrow, or boring subject matter.
Emphasis on boring.
Ding, ding, ding.
That sounds like Kyland.
I didn't tell you to shut up. I told you to be quiet.
Pedantic.
And come on, bro. Come on. Just you've lost two of the things here.
Yeah, you just got to walk away at this point. Just stop. You've done enough.
He didn't. He decided to sit there with Nerys wrapped around him, with Nerys's arm around him, and just sit there and laugh at Bertha. They were both just laughing at Bertha's face. And I was like, am I watching? It felt very Mean Girls at this point.
It did. I mean, that tends to be what happens to Bertha. I'm curious because it keeps happening to her. Like, what? I don't want to blame her for it, but at a certain point, it happens enough times where she's got to be doing something to allow these things to happen. But it's Bertha. She's doing Bertha things, and we're just going to let her go. And Michelle's got an eye on it, and it's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And Bertha realized that me, you, the number one, and everybody else, the hotties, needed a little break, needed a little breath. And she's like, let me just bring this conversation down to a more normal place. And let me tell you about my awful home scenario. And I was like, oh God, Bertha.
Yeah.
It's not what we needed right now, Bertha. I needed some other life into me. And you know what, Mixie? The cameraman said, I got you. The cameraman was like, let me try to like back into the bushes while filming this. And you can like see a branch like come right into the view as he's like trying to like get out of that scenario.
I don't understand why we saw that if she wasn't going home. Does she make it to the final now at this point? Because clearly they're setting up a situation. Like, I don't feel like I mean, that was what, like 3 to 5 minutes of us learning about Bertha and Emmanuel, and nothing really happened with them outside of that for the rest of the episode. So I'm not really understanding why they felt that that was something that we needed to see, but not see, I don't know, Jay talking to Nerys after putting Nerys in that awful situation and making Nerys choose.
That was still fun, though.
All we saw was a 2-second clip of Jay just saying it had to be you. And then they like do their little like fucking flashing edits and move on to the next thing. I'm like, is that all we're going to say about this situation? The big thing that happened in the last episode, we're just going to be like, fuck it, whatever. It had to be you. Moving on. I wanted a scream fight. But instead, I find out that Bertha's mom isn't a nice lady. And she doesn't deserve that, okay?
No, she doesn't. And now I understand why she gets heated on certain things.
Yeah.
So you don't tell me to shut up. Only my mother can tell me to do those things. And I dislike her. And poor Emmanuel's like, I have a great relationship with my mother. I'm like, don't say that out loud. Emmanuel is forever.
He's trying to comfort her, being like, that sucks. My mom's the shit, actually. Oh. So, darn it.
Oh, I'm dope as shit. Sucks for you, Bertha.
And then we saw a great little phone call back to mom. She's got her cute little hat on. She's fishing.
God, love it.
Adorable. You know what it made me miss, Steven? Steven, you know what it made me miss? A little bit of Mom LaFrank. It was a Mom LaFrank-esque cameo that I think me and the hotties are missing out on. I know she's not getting screeners, but Mom LaFrank, please give us some insight of your thoughts of what's going on so far.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. If you're a hottie, you need to message us this week when you listen. Send a message, post in the hotties. And I am going to I'm going to write down on this piece of paper here. Oh. I'm going to write down how many messages we need to get. And if we get that amount of messages, next week will find out a way of getting a Mom LaFrank recap. Thoughts on the season in this episode. So I'm writing it down.
Yeah. I like how you're writing it down so that people have to go to the YouTube video. I see you.
Yeah, they see that. They see that I wrote it down. Now, I'm not going to show them. I'm showing the back of the pad here. But on the other side, there is a number.
Well, don't they need to know how many?
No, they don't. That's the thing. I have written down an undisclosed amount that they need to hit.
I'm not following this, just like I'm not following what the fuck the point of the daily was. What was that daily?
Well, it was very clear. I don't know how you didn't get it. The whole idea was just take the skin off everybody's hands. How did you not get that?
That actually, I think I'd rather see the vomiting compilations than the shots of their hands with it like burned through. Oh my God. Like, awful.
Here's part of the problem about this episode. This was an Under Armour brand deal. And Under Armour, if you want to come, we can put a logo right here behind me on the green screen, on the blue screen.
I'll wear it.
Mix has got room up there. She's got a shirt that you could put it on. Make, number one Under Armour apparel. We can do that. I do think maybe those were some Under Armour gloves that they used.
Yeah, I am curious about that because they called out the Under Armour Slip Speed shoes.
They did.
No free promo, but they did call that out. And Steven, you know what else they did? They gave a prize to the person that won. Now, it feels like we just talked about that, didn't we?
I know we just talked about that because before we were recording this, I was editing the last part of this. So I know, as a matter of fact, we did talk about how great that was. And
out of nowhere, it finally happened.
I mean, out of nowhere, of course, this is what we do. We just speak things into existence. Again, if you're just joining us here on the number one, this is what we do. When you go, wow, how did they come up with this new scenario? It's because we talked about it last week. That's how this works here, the number one, okay?
I mean, it wasn't a kick flip phone and a fucking headphones built into sunglasses, but it was a prize, and I will take it.
There was also another prize in this, Mixie. And I'm wondering, was the random ass shot of Berna Bertha's ass just a little nod again to the number one? It came out of nowhere, and it actually wasn't even necessary in this episode. They just cut away from other stuff, and they were like, oh, look at Berna Bertha walking over there, just ass real quick. And I salute the editors who clearly listen to us here.
And I loved it too. But I'm starting to feel like there is a bit of a corroboration of people that are trying to get certain people ass of the week.
Oh, some collusion, you may say.
Did I say? I don't know what word. I couldn't remember.
You said collaboration.
Corroboration.
Corroboration. Did you mean collusion?
Sure. You knew what I meant.
Maybe.
I felt like that was an attempt to force me into a award that I have been continuing to give Berna Bertha because she just keeps giving herself wedgies.
Yes.
However, our little dancing vampire, Emmanuel, gave a little tappity tap to that acidy ass.
Oh.
It has become this week's
Let's go!
Ass of the Week. Of the week. Deserved.
Oh man. That's I think that's a first for him.
That is a first for him, and he deserves it because he gave me a show.
Yeah.
He put on a performance. He's a performer.
He did. We know that about him. We know that he loves to basically just entertain the masses.
Yeah.
He loves to plow chicks on this show. And he loves to entertain the masses. There's two things we know about him.
Those are the two things that he seems to be doing so far.
Yeah.
Cheat on his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And entertain.
Maybe multiple times. Who knows?
He's entertaining us, and he's entertaining the girls on the show.
And he's entertaining them. And they're entertaining him, theoretically, too.
Everybody's entertained. Are you not entertained?
Like the accent that you did that one with.
I am not entertained by the fact that Ed did not do well. I was so upset, and I was like, please, God, make it be James.
This is the moment where we take a moment of silence here.
I'm pissed, okay? I am livid. Ed was going to win this. This was Ed's to win. And he got knocked out by some daily that, to be quite frank with you, I still don't understand what happened.
Okay, I've been waiting for this because you've told me a couple times you don't understand how this daily worked. And I was like, oh, man, here we go. So all they had to do is literally let go of the repelling thing, and you're trying to stop as low as possible on the rope.
As fast as possible.
As fast as possible. If you saw on the rope, there were certain areas that were kind of taped off.
Yes.
And that's how they were measuring how far down you went. Now, the problem with this is once someone falls in, literally nobody else has to go more than 4 inches down. That's what she said.
Why are people falling?
And then you win. But other people still feel like they needed to try to win. And some of the girls were like, hey, I'm not going to even risk that. Right? And so they were still trying to go down to give their alliance the best chance of like being the first pick and stuff like that. But it didn't seem like a lot of them tried to do that. So that's the only thing it was. You just needed to stop yourself at the end of the rope, as close to the end of the rope as possible.
That's what I thought. But the thing that didn't make sense to me was that the person that lost is the person that hit the water the fastest. Wouldn't it be the person that hit it the slowest? Because they were trying to maneuver themselves to the bottom?
Well,
that's the part that I didn't understand. Why was it the person that hit the water fastest was the one that lost? It would make more sense to me that it would be the person that hit the water the slowest.
Yeah, but you could also, if you're trying to get right to the end, you can just slowly click and click.
That's the point I'm trying to make. So it's way more strategy to like be super slow with it. And you have more on the line of like, okay, it's taken me a while to get this low.
Yeah.
I should probably stop because if I fall, I'm the slowest. Well, but if you're going slow down, then you can keep going till the absolute bottom and not have to worry about it because you know other people hit the water faster. Do you get what I'm saying? The way that the elimination of like the lowest score part is what didn't make sense to me.
Okay, I got you. I bet you that was a conversation that was being had about, you know, if a couple of people fall in, how do we figure this out? And I think they were just trying to prevent the people from going too quick, and then they miss it and they go in the water. They're like, oh, okay, well, somebody else will go slower and maybe miss it, and that's on them. But
then that's a strategy, too, that you could just hold it and let the fuck go.
And just splash into the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you'd be out right away.
But you wouldn't be out at the bottom. You'd be out.
I get that.
So it would make people fall faster to the bottom. Because the goal was to get to the bottom the fastest without falling off.
I think if you were doing that competition in real life and not filming content for a television show where you need things to happen kind of not in 4 seconds, maybe we go that way. I don't know. I feel like this is probably a debate they had.
I'm curious if other people had this thought because the whole time I'm like, why is it the person that hits the water the fastest? It just didn't make sense to me. The process of who won made sense. Yeah. Because that makes sense. Like, you don't want to go slow because then it's like the whole point of it is gone. But if that's the case, then that's my thought process on it.
Okay. I will say it's been a while watching this show where it felt like the air got sucked out of my chest.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say it 1000% did when Mr. TJ said, Ed. The air got lifted out of my body because I really thought I was at the point where I started convincing myself that Ed is winning this show.
Mm-hmm.
And with no other reason other than I was thinking it just feels like he's there enough. He's being put in the edit enough. He's smart enough.
He's well-rounded
enough that he could do that. And then that happens, and then it totally rips it from you, and you're like, oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I have to hope that other people felt that. And I think that's why I've been feeling this week.
I know that the eliminations of Horacio and Kyland are going to be the bigger, like, hoopla. But in my opinion, this is the big loss of this episode. He was the best, well-rounded in all aspects of the game, in my opinion, on the show right now. He was playing a great social game. He was riding low, but like still was, I mean, he didn't touch the sand.
Yeah.
He didn't touch the sand. He fucking won a ton of dailies by himself, Raven. He's smart. He's fucking muscular. I want Ed back so badly for 40, and I really do think that he can get to a final and win it. If he makes it to a final, I think he is a massive threat to win it. I do.
I do want him back. I wonder how many other people want him back. I think sometimes the problem is if everybody likes you, you're not interesting enough to cast.
But I disagree. He's funny.
I think he's funny too, but they don't tend to necessarily always go that way. Do they need an Ed if there's a Devin? You know what I mean? Like, you're casting certain people to fill certain roles on the TV show.
Yeah.
I want him very badly, but if we think if you're a likable person, sometimes you don't get brought back because that's not interesting enough for them unless you do something very specific on the show.
I really think he could be a Devin or a Kyle in this franchise.
Yeah.
I think he's very.
Those people are back next year. Who knows?
Who knows? We don't know. We don't know anything.
We do not know.
J1. So everybody knew what was going to happen from this point on, and we all had to pretend like we didn't know what was going to happen for what, an hour?
My note here is Jay wins. Oh boy.
I said that too.
Boy.
J1, oh fucking boy. That's my note.
J1, oh boy, how does this play out? Oh my God, what's going to happen to Olivia? That's what I was thinking in my head.
Well, and I mean, that plays a part in this. I will say, Jay says something pretty much immediately where he's like, I don't know if I'm going to pick Emmanuel or Michelle. What the fuck is that? Excuse me, sir. This woman has put her neck on the line time and time again, season after season, for your goddamn stupid ass. And you're not sure if you're going to pick Emmanuel, who, quite frankly, I've never seen you talk to alone. Is he in their Fantastic Four with your little wiggity woos? No, he's not. You know who is? Michelle.
Emmanuel always happens to just randomly be in the room.
Be there.
But he's not saying anything. He's just in the room. And some points I'm just like, do they know he's in the room? Do they know Mr. Vampire Guy is in the room? Or does he have some sort of cloaking device that hides him from the rest of the people in the room? Because he's not a chatty Cathy, at least on this season. Maybe it's because he's banging too many people. He's just exhausted from banging everybody on the show. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
It can be a lot of work for your mouth and your hands and just your body in general. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
we go to the club. Yeah. Everybody drinks for Ed. I, too, had a drink for Ed at this point when I was watching the episode. Yeah. I'm just livid. We get into some fights at the club. What else is new?
Love it.
I do have to, and you're not going to like this, I do have to agree with it, Nerys.
Okay.
Why is Mariah always getting a pass, but Nerys can't get help from Jay one time? Nerys asked Jay to spare Kyland and Horacio this one time. Mariah has gotten James spared every single fucking episode.
I don't disagree with the premise if the two things were equal. The two things are not equal. Horacio is not the same as James, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Okay, sure, fine. Right?
If we're this close to the end, and I have put this guy in time and time and time again,
totally fair, totally fair.
Trying to win money, he is my biggest threat. I saw James pass out after running for 10 minutes.
Hilarious.
Still very funny.
Amazing.
So I think I'm going to carry that person there, and that's one person I know I can beat. And now Ed has also gone home.
Sure. Absolutely fine. Sure. Jay himself has said, and Nerys has said this, but Jay himself has said, after Michelle, it's Nerys. It's not Mariah. It's Nerys.
Yeah, but it's the voting structure, Mix.
But
it's the voting structure.
They're sitting there. Nerys, he's yelling at Michelle. Michelle is yelling at him because the layout doesn't work out. If he had taken this one opportunity to not have Horacio and Kyland go in, the layout could have worked out. They could have taken Colleen, who, let's be honest, he does not care about.
Okay, that's one. Who else?
Corey, who has numerous times, as Ed said, everybody forgot what Corey did.
Well, yeah.
And has yet to have to deal with the consequences of those actions. And you could put somebody like Berna Bertha down there. Or Nerys. Or I'm sorry, not Nerys. Or Olivia. You have an issue with Olivia.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm not.
And then you get back in the good graces of Nerys so that later, the next time when maybe you don't win, you're like, hey, I did this solid for you. Can you help me out? At this point, I think making an agreement for something like this, a one-off, is worth it. Especially when you've got all the opportunities of losing people from coming in last. There could be a slip-up of Horacio or Kyland at that time coming in last.
Listen, you're making a good case, but I'm not buying on it.
Whereas Mariah has yet to do anything this season.
That's the point.
But it doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to have Nerys as your number 2 and your girl right after Michelle, then fucking act like it. He has yet to ever act like it.
It's too late now. If this happened,
don't say that shit.
But if it happened 8 weeks ago, it's fine. We have a completely different voting structure. If I save Nerys at this point, which he clearly wanted to do, in the voting structure, she's then going to say Horacio, who then says Kyland. He wants at least one, if not both of them out to run the final against. And I agree with that. I'm sick of people saying that the final, if you're running the final, you should go against strong people. I dare you to go in there and think that there's $500,000 on the line, and then you go, I don't want the easiest way of winning $500,000. This is the same people who play the lottery. You're not going to try to take the easiest way out. If this, again, is 6 weeks ago, and that could help, at this point, it doesn't help. There's probably 2 weeks left at this point, and he understands I have to take every opportunity. And guess what? It fucking paid off this week. It paid off. He got both of them out. Ed's also gone. So as much as people want to shit on him, and I don't agree the way that he's talking to Michelle and to other people and how cocky and arrogant he is with it, it's fucking working for him. It's working. It worked perfectly. He finally did it.
I just disagree. He just buried any sort of connection that he had with Nerys, any sort of extra vote he could have gotten out of Nerys. He just buried it.
Nerys is not saving him. Nerys would save Horacio.
But if Horacio and Kyland went in next week and they both got out, or one of them got out, but it wasn't at the hands of Jay literally putting her against the two of them, and he could be like, well, I just said Michelle and that's it. Fuck, he knew exactly what the fucking layout of this was going to be.
I think and so we'll talk about that now, right? We'll talk about how this goes, because the club thing made it seem for a while, and I'm wondering if ever other people thought this. Jay said when they had like their little meeting right when they got back, he goes, I'm done hunting. Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean? You're going to like all of a sudden, like you're fine with them? You're not going to like try to throw them in anymore? I didn't believe that for a fucking second. But I'm sitting there going, are they now safe? And then, no, they're not safe. No, we want them to be in the end. Then Berna Bertha is smiling. Oh, you should put Colleen in. Then he's yelling at Michelle. And I was like, you calm the fuck down there, my guy. You don't yell at her like that. That's very disrespectful. I don't like the way you handled that. And she is on the verge of what I feel like she's like, I'm like, oh, it's going to happen.
It's a Michelle down.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But she even said, there's way too many people now that I have alliances to.
I mean, a self-aware queen.
There was no way. And that's what people are like, well, that's what you should have it. But that, you know what? It got her to this point. And again, that's the goal, is to get as far as humanly possible, however you can. Mm-hmm. If you fuck some people over, that's fine. Hot take. If Nerys wasn't fucking Horacio, she's not as pissed for all this shit.
Well, obviously.
Honestly, I don't think Jay does any of this if they're not together, right? It doesn't go that way. because he's not nervous that she's going to say Horacio, and then
she would have been saved. Right. Her friendship with Kyland.
I want to make sure this is very clear. Not trying to blame her for finding love. Not saying any of that. But as things develop in the game, certain things change. She clearly said she was part of an alliance with two guys, Jay and Asaf. And then she goes and says a few weeks ago, my alliance goes Jay, Horacio, Kyland, then Asaf. Then you can't be on the other one.
But that's where I feel like Mariah's doing the same thing. I feel like Mariah is getting off scot-free for doing the exact same thing. And as we see what happens later, she's once again just like getting away with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes no sense to me. And Nerissa said this too. Why is it okay that she can save somebody that you guys have known for like 4 weeks, but I can't save somebody that I've known for 4 years?
Because he's a threat and James isn't. That's what.
And I don't disagree with that. But that's not what they're saying. They're not saying it like that.
Okay, and maybe they're not. But I think you have to be big enough of a self-aware queen to understand that the reason they don't want to do that is because they see Horacio as a threat, and as well as they fucking should.
Yeah.
Again,
I don't disagree with that.
Jumps is this week. I wouldn't want to see Horacio playing checkers as far as I'm concerned. I feel like he could dominate anything except a tanagram this week that he did, right? It's just what it is. And a final is going to be outrunning this guy. Nobody's outrunning this guy.
I don't disagree. Michelle said it too when they got back and they were looking at the list. She's like, I have you and you're protecting a guy that you've known for 4 weeks. And that is fucking my list up.
This is funny, Mix, because they're making lists. And for the second week in a row, I might have to make a segment called Damn That's Hot featuring Michelle.
It was fantastic.
She putting James and Mariah in their spot. Hot. So now we're going to play the game that we teased earlier. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you a list of things that Michelle said to Mariah basically about James. And then I want you to pick your favorite. Okay, here we go.
Okay, smash.
Correct. Game over. Option 1.
If you weren't even here, James would be the first one down.
Smash.
Option 2.
And now I'm put in a position where one of the two of my best friends are going down. So I have every right to be a little bit irritated that somebody that I met 5 weeks ago is staying.
Smash.
James is in here because of you, so let him do the dirty work.
Ugh, this is tough.
I know.
Smash.
I know. So those are the 3 options. And I love the last one because it seemed that Mariah was more miffed about that than anything else, right?
Like, girl, you can't have your cake and eat it too. This man is safe. Chill the fuck out. Now you don't want him to say a name. He just fucking put Zara down last week.
And not only is he safe, everybody, he doesn't have to do anything. That's the best part. That's such a fucking G move right there. He's just hanging out, shirtless, they're banging, and she does all the politicking for him, and she just comes and tells him what to do. It's honestly like a married couple already. He's just hanging around.
Yeah, he's just there.
And he's just there, and she goes, all right, this is what we're going to do. It's like, all right. That's it. That's all he's doing right now.
He's just James.
Yeah.
That's it.
What a great life. You get to bang her, hang out at the pool, not really be scared of going in at this point because she's got allies on both sides of this clear alliance. And you're in the middle. I just thought it was funny that all of a sudden she became the target and not somebody like Corey. Like, why are we keeping Corey around?
I still don't understand that. I think Corey just like sucks off the dick of Jay and Michelle. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that he just is like the horse with the blinders on, right? Like all he sees in front of him is Jay and Michelle, and he will do whatever he needs to do to make them happy. So why would they cut him right now? I still think that they should have, and he should have taken that L, like I said earlier, and had Kyland and or Horacio, or just made one of them. Been like, you pick. And then that makes Nerissa the bad guy again. And Kyland's like, well, what the fuck? And she's like, well, I had to pick one, and I picked Horacio because we know that's who she'd pick. So I just, I think that that Corey right now wouldn't have been the best move for them unless he was doing it for a long-term strategy with Nurys. Speaking of Nurys.
So hold on. We have to pick which one you like there the most.
Oh, all the above. Smash. I cannot pick one.
You came back to the right one. All the above. Smash. I'm going to add in an extra favorite that I did not put into your comment because I realized it would not be included. Michelle then went on camera moments later, basically about, it's I got all these options and I have to say these. She says, it's champagne problems. Clear shout out to our girl T Swift, who you love. If you're just joining us for the first time, I have muted Mixie's microphone so she can't say anything about this. And she is a big Taylor Swift fan. As a matter of fact, she's team Taylor Swift and definitely not team John Mayer. And her mic's definitely not muted, so she's not saying anything contrary about it.
This is slanderous, and you will be hearing from my lawyer. Moving on. What might be my favorite thing that's happened this episode?
Mm-hmm.
Nurys is threatening to leave. And you might be sitting there wondering, Nurys, why would you want to leave randomly out of nowhere? Well, don't worry. She told us. And buckle up because this excuse is great.
Hold on. Let me get my seatbelt securely fastened. Please. Do I also need to keep my arms and legs inside the tram at all times?
I would appreciate that. And please put your phone on airplane mode.
Okay, hold on. Phone is on airplane mode? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Phone is on airplane mode. I have my seatbelt securely fastened. And also, just to let you know and let everybody else know at home, I take safety very seriously. My tray table is in the full upright and locked position along with my chair. Okay, continue.
Thank you so much. Nurys is leaving because Kyland and Horacio are good friends.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Of course. I don't know why you would need to. That was very clear and obviously a very legitimate reason to leave.
Well, see, that was my question is, you said there was going to be a very clear and legitimate reason for leaving. What I heard was not one of those. So I assume you have that reason coming up. So
again, just to reiterate, the reason is Kyland and Horacio have been good friends.
It might be my headphones. I think you just said the same.
No,
thing.
I understand.
Okay.
So Kyland.
Yeah, I got.
What's up, guys? It's Kyland.
That guy. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And Horacio.
I know him too.
Okay, are good friends to Nurys. So therefore, she's gonna leave.
I think we should just move on because I'm totally not getting it. Do you get it? Or is it just me?
And then Olivia tries to help us out here. So Olivia then says in her ITM that Nurys is leaving because of Jay. And I'm sitting there like, no, Olivia, that would make sense. See, now what Nurys just said was it was because she has really good friends.
Yes.
And that's why she's leaving. So I understand you trying to make this make sense, but she already did that. So you don't need to do that.
Yeah, and see, in court, that's inadmissible because I just heard from the witness, and the witness said it was for that reason. Now, I think you're lying under oath, Olivia.
And that can't happen.
Charges?
That can't happen.
No, ma'am, it cannot.
But don't worry, because it is now time for the selection.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness. I just assumed she was upset and, couldn't maybe handle the game at this point.
Well, why would you think that?
Randomly wanting to quit, maybe? I don't know.
But it's just because she has good friends, Steven.
Again, I know you keep saying that.
What, does it not make sense? Is that wildly not a reason to leave a show that the two good friends that you're speaking of are still on?
Yeah, they're still there.
Yeah.
As you said last week or the week before to Jay, Asaf's not dead. He just went home.
Yep. Actually, you can step out in the hallway and see them still.
They're right there.
Right there.
And tell you what, boys and girls, what Mixie just explained there is maybe the reason we're going to be going to the corner sometime soon. So, corner is on the horizon. I just called down to the corner. The corner is expecting our arrival.
Okay.
We'll be there soon.
Well, before we get to the corner, we have to get the parade of what could possibly be the most depressed looking people I have ever seen.
Were these people not about to be lined up and just like shot? And
it was like Squid Games. Like they were going into the game where they knew like 3 people were going to live and everyone else was going to die.
It was exactly what it was.
It was insane how sad and depressed everyone looked. I was like, once again, as you just stated, no one's dying. We're all going to be just fine.
It's fine. I know it's tough mentally, but everyone continues to live after. So that's a bonus for most of us.
I wrote down, why is everyone so sad? Mariah's still wearing a bra as a shirt. Glass half full.
Here's the thing. I don't think she owns a shirt.
I don't think so.
Because someone sent us one of her posts that she had like a Q&A on Instagram, and somebody sent it. The question literally was, do you own a shirt? And it was a photo of like a baby shirt she was wearing. So I don't think that was what it was, but shout out to whoever sent that to us.
We're all curious.
You get it. You get it. The voting starts. Okay, here it goes. We start.
Yes.
Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Jay had a great, a great strategy for this. If things go wrong, you just say, hey, I just voted for one person.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, great strategy. Hey, yeah. I just picked up the hooker. She blew me. Okay.
We've all been there,
We've all been there.
The classic, I didn't do anything. The hooker just sucked my dick. You know what I mean?
He was on the side of the road. It looked dangerous. I picked her up, and then you're here, and she's blowing me. I don't know how we got to the next part.
I'm just a bystander, okay?
Here, I picked her up to save her. She blew me. Get mad at her. Sir, not me.
I'm just here with my pants around my ankles. What do you want from me?
As a matter of fact, how dare you not support another man for getting blown?
I didn't even get to finish. If anything, we're all mad at you.
Yeah. You're interrupting, as a matter of fact, sir. How would you like it next time you're with your wife? I just knock on your door, shine a flashlight in your car, and go, hey, what's going on here?
This is my car. This is my space.
Yeah. How dare you? This is the United States of America. The United States of America. If I want to get blown on the side of the road, let me get blown.
And I stand with you on that.
As everyone should.
I had a friend that got eaten out on a sidewalk once.
What?
That's a story for a different time. But it happens, and this is America.
On a sidewalk? They were on a sidewalk?
No, they were like on like downtown.
Like, oh, okay.
Like multiple people walked by, and I was getting texts about it.
This person was just standing up. They laid down.
Oh no, they laid down like in the grass by the sidewalk. Oh yeah.
You're telling me you have a friend.
College. It wasn't me. I want to be very clear about this. It was not me.
You have a friend.
She's still a dear friend of mine. She's a great person.
Who might be seeing this social clip going, what the fuck? And going, that's my story right now. Right? That's what you're telling me.
I'll send it to her. I support it.
This person chose willingly. Maybe some extracurriculars involved.
Who knows?
Just
allegedly.
say it. It's a better story for her at this point if you say yes.
She wasn't sober. I'll be clear on that point.
And she's like, I'm just going to lay down and let this guy go to town on me.
Listen, she had hit a point where she couldn't walk anymore and things needed to happen. Okay.
Ohio, man. Ohio.
Come to school in Ohio. You get eaten out on the sidewalk. I bet I'm helping tourism right now. Visit Ohio. Get your pussy eaten on the sidewalk. Ohio.
It's going to be real fun to edit that for a social clip.
Anyways.
I don't even know where we were.
Jay picks Michelle. It's not Jay's fault. Michelle picks Olivia.
Which was a little surprising. I'm going to be honest. Because I didn't think it was going to be her that high up necessarily at that point.
I feel like it wasn't that crazy. There was definitely crazier picks than Olivia.
Yeah.
But then the craziest thing did happen.
Yes.
Olivia, headphone warning. What the fuck were you doing?
She was trying to save herself. Save yourself! She tried to save herself. We had a little flashback. We learned what happened, which was great because we needed to do this because this was really out of nowhere. Unless you weren't kind of been paying attention to what's been happening. So we knew something was obviously going to come up. We learned that she was made aware that she was going to be in the bottom three. So it was going to be her versus Horacio versus Kyland.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, guys? You're getting eliminated. And she made the determination to say, rightfully so, how is it me? She 20 minutes ago fully packed her bags wanting to leave. How is it me?
Mm-hmm.
How do we not just put her down there and allow her to just not compete and she can go home?
Mm-hmm.
And Jay's like, we tried this every other way. This Horacio Kyland thing is fucking us. And then one of the best pieces of audio ever recorded in the history of mankind goes down as a deal is made. It is determined that Olivia will basically go with this plan. And here to tell you the plan is Mariah. Now, reminder, Mariah is here with just these other people, okay? You might have missed this, but this is not the stuff the number one misses. This is fucking comedic gold, okay? Play the audio. Play the audio.
What if we put Jay, Michelle, Olivia, Mariah?
Now, her just pointing to herself and saying her name,
Mariah,
is magical.
It's the most Mariah thing that she has done this season. And just, again, the icing on the cake. Is she wearing a shirt? Absolutely not.
No, why would she? This is a brand now. It's a brand. It was giving elementary school. Mariah, can you tell us everyone who's in class today? Sure. Jay, Michelle, Olivia, Mariah. That's what it gave. And it's, watch, I'll play it again and you tell me I'm wrong.
What if we put Jay, Michelle, Olivia, Mariah?
It's so funny.
It's so funny. I've listened to this clip 20 times and I'm still laughing.
Why is Mariah there? Why is she there, though? Like, again, I cannot stress this enough. She's done nothing for this alliance other than cause problems for it.
That's a really good point. She has caused nothing but problems and issues on like who they have to save because some people like Mariah, you know, it's wonderful because she's not been in I don't think she's ever been in a position this year to help any of these other people.
Nope.
It is a one-way street of help.
Yep.
And you know who's at the end of it? Mariah. That's what it was. So we learned that she was basically going to, I don't want to say go rogue here.
Mm-hmm.
She was going to choose to save herself because she was a little peed off, rightfully so. I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
The person who said they want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't know if production said you can't do that yet. We don't know if she changed her mind. We don't know any of that. And I would love to know that information.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But Olivia's like, I'm not fucking taking the bullet for somebody who wants to go home. That's fucking crazy. And I think we can all relate to that.
Yep.
Now, the way that it went, though, maybe we all can't relate to. So we flash back. She says Mariah, as Mariah told her to do. And they cut to Nerys, and Nerys is just not happy about it. Kyland's laughing, which I appreciate. He was like,
Kyland knew he was going down. I mean, Kyland's like well aware that this is he's down in elimination. Like, what's up, guys? I'm Kyland, and you know,
I'm in elimination again.
I was shocked that Nerys didn't pop her right there, but she didn't. It continues to go.
No, that did not happen.
According to the edit, it did not happen. Corey gets saved, and now it's Nerys, Kyland, and Horacio.
Yeah,
and
even though Jay was telling, who was it? He was telling
Bertha
to say Corey, so they would have ended up with Colleen in there, which was the plan. Colleen was upset. All that end was upset too.
Yeah, I mean, I do I blame them? Not really. But Jay's sitting there and he's all like, wah.
Oh, Wario?
Wah.
Waluigi?
Waluigi. Oh, Jay is sitting in the corner and just Waluigiing and wah. And I'm sorry, dude. You can't say that all you did was pick Michelle and your hands are clean and then be like, oh, I wasn't supposed to be like this. Okay, which one is it, sir?
Tej even got involved. Tej, rarely involving himself in scenarios like this, goes,
love it.
What's going to happen, Jay? Great.
I more of this, more of that, please, all of the time.
I want more of TJ being disgusted with these people.
Yeah.
Just look at this person. I think they can compete on my final. What a waste of skin this person is. Look at this bag of garbage over here.
Jay's in the corner like, wah. Nerys is through the ceiling. She like fucking cusses out Bertha. Which, to be honest with you, I don't know if that's actually going to make the cut that you guys saw because it was aggressive. I was shocked that it made the edit, to be honest.
And honestly, it felt out of place. Like maybe that made it there because she right after said, I should be more upset at Olivia.
Yeah.
Who said, my mind just went blank. I was trying to save myself, which I get, Queen, but what did you think was going to happen here? What did you think was going to happen? I thought maybe she thought in a weird way, hey, she wants to go home. I'll save myself. She'll be in there. She'll just won't compete. The two guys will come back. She'll get everything she wants and we'll be fine.
If that's the case, girl, I've said this to you before. Olivia, you know I love you. Have a conversation, even if it's in the last 30 seconds and be like, hey, I made a deal. I'm sorry. You're going to go in.
Yeah.
She clearly blindsided Nerys on this one. So Nerys is pissed. And I'm just like, let's go. Nerys, I want Nerys to start throwing hands. Let's have a fucking fight right now. But no, that doesn't happen. Instead, a new ick is unlocked. Kyland does some stupid fucking little, I don't even know what the fuck he said because I was so goddamn icked out by it. He's like, I stay ready. And like rips his shirt off to his awful orange tank top, which again, he is deciding to choose and wear this orange tank top. If we get a chance to talk to Kyland, I will be asking him, why the fuck, when you have all of these options, are you going with the orange tank top and the gray and orange leggings, sir?
What are we doing? Horacio, how bad did that tank top smell? Because he wears it all the time. I assume he wears it to bed.
I can't think of a time I saw Kyland in his gray.
We might have to ask him about that. We might have
important questions.
Important questions need to be asked, including that. Jay tries to go in to talk to Nerys and show her all the list that he made where she wasn't there.
I'm sorry. Hold on. You said Jay went in to talk to Nerys?
Yeah.
Because all I heard was Jay wah. Oh. And then he went and sat on a bed and wah.
No, there was a wah.
He wah, and then he wah.
Well, there was a wah, and then there was, let me talk to you real quick, LA Night style, and then there was a wah after. There was a long wah.
He wanned during the conversation, and then he went to bed and wah.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of wah. That's all Jay pretty much does at this point. It's just, guys, when you're watching, just in your head, just as he's talking, just wah. 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 That's it.
Pretty well, guys. She does it pretty well.
It's Jay, and he's wah. And that's all he's going to do.
Yeah, you tried to show the list. Hey, look at any of these lists. You were safe in a few of these. Like the plan was to get Colleen in. That was the plan. In some of these plans, Olivia was supposed to go in.
Yeah.
So sorry about it. Not my fault. Sorry about it. They figured something else out. Not my fucking problem here. But I'm sorry. And she wasn't having any of that, and I get it. And then, even though Kyland was already there, they're like, yo, we got to send everybody back, and then we'll call you later. So, calm down, sir. They take them out to the killing fields, it seems like.
Yeah, we'll go get slaughtered.
Yeah.
By a tanagram.
And I'm sitting here going, well, this is going to be easy. Nerys is not going to compete. She's going to kind of lay it down and just go through the motions, and she'll go home, which it doesn't seem like they told us going into this that she had changed her mind.
Yeah,
right?
We didn't really hear anything. Just she was pissed at this point.
Correct. She was pissed. She was furious. She couldn't believe she was going to go in, and she knew, okay, well, 2 people are coming back. And I think a lot of us, I'd be shocked if anybody had this scenario in a plan. TJ said 2 people are going home. And I went, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
And then I went, but why? And ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the corner. Oh, we're at the conspiracy corner. Oh my God, look at this in here. It's so nice.
It's been so long.
I don't think anybody's been in here since we've been in here last time. Look how nice this looks in here.
It's been at least a year.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, Corner. We missed you so much.
But we're back.
Yeah, there's not been a lot of conspiracies, but I'm telling you, this is the space to be for this take.
Hit him with it.
I told you about this already offline.
Yes.
I think what happened was they, meaning production, heard Nerys was basically potentially going to lay this down and just fall on the sword and going to let them win. And production goes, no, the fuck you're not. We're going to send 2 people home. So they'll still have to compete against each other. You're not going to ruin our fucking show. What a great moment. You just yelled at your friend, and then you're just going to quit on everybody? You know how bad TJ doesn't like this? We'd like you to come back. We'd like you to be a star of this. But guess what? You're going to fuck us over if we've promoted you for this show, and you're going to quit. So, no. 2 of you motherfuckers are going home. Don't you try to pull. You realize who we are? We're production.
I think that you might be right on this one. I think it's a combination of that, and like I said earlier, they saw Kyland come in and got the reactions that they wanted, and here we are.
Yeah, they were like, oh, guys, there's nothing saying that we have to send just one of them home. How great would it be? We also have way too many people still. This is a great opportunity.
Too many people on the motherfucking show.
Too many people. Let's just do it. Why not at this point?
I don't think we need to be in the corner anymore.
I don't think we do. This felt like a good safe space to roll up my conspiracy. And that's what this room was created for. Also, it was created to bring prostitutes because of the other scenario. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Allegedly.
No, maybe not. I don't think that. I think there's new rules. You have to have a membership card. That's okay. Let's get out of here. Let's get out.
Okay.
Oh, man, what a great time. We were back in that corner for a while. Oh, it was so stand.
A good time had by all. Absolutely.
Man, oh, man. So we learned
what an elimination.
Go home now. And this fucking great. Again, edge of my seat television here.
Great. Absolutely incredible. The edit was so good. Nerys, we got to give her credit. She dominated. She really did a fantastic job on this.
I thought she was going to shit the bed.
I did too.
And she got to that last thing of holding those cans up or whatever that was. And I go,
yep.
Horacio is going to come back and he's going to finish that tanagram and he's going to finish that. And it's going to be game, set, match over, and she's going to have this huge lead. And then she got it.
Yep.
And I was like, holy shit. And this is why it pays not to be spoiled, boys and girls. If there's any reason to like look forward to be like, maybe why it's this type of stuff. Because if you like knew she did like that they didn't get to the final, this would be a wash for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like know that like to not know anything.
Completely open, yeah.
Oh, it was so good. And hell yeah, you got to give her props. Champs couldn't get these two people out. Very different game structure here.
Mm-hmm.
But still, you got the W against two of them. Kind of sad that you had to send your boyfriend home. But, you know.
Are they even dating at this point? I don't think they are.
I mean, they're dating. Let's be honest.
Anyways, well, is Mariah dating Bananas? Do we want to open that can of worms? I guess so.
Semantics. That's the few words.
Something happened during this, and I know you caught it because we both heard something different. So as Kyland is running in this elimination.
Run with this, please. Yes.
We hear him say that the final is 3 people.
Or did we hear him not say that?
So he said something. Why don't we just play the audio?
Okay, let's just play the audio. And then you guys think what you want to think that you heard. Here's the audio.
We know that only 3 people are going to get paid.
So when I heard this, I contacted Steven and we played the audio again together.
We did.
I heard Kyland say that 3 people are going to be picked.
Yes.
Steven heard 3 people are going to be paid.
I did. And then we had a debate because there's more audio after this.
Yes.
I think helps my case of him saying, I think he goes, and if it's going to be those 3, I want it to be me. Okay.
Yes.
There's 3. And I thought this was brand new information. If this is what we thought, either way, it's new information. 3 people are making the final or 3 people are getting paid. But he said it. He's like, we all know. I'm like, no, sir, we do not know any of this.
Yeah. This is brand new information for us. We dissected this, and I still am not 100% sure it's paid or picked because it works both ways. Even with the second line, it's he wants to be one of the 3 people picked to go to the final, or he wants to be one of the 3 people paid in the final, which both make sense.
Which both make sense, but mine makes less sense because I thought the whole idea was winner take all.
Well, both of them, yeah. I mean, that doesn't make sense. But I could also see TJ being like, "Just kidding. There was 3 ladders, idiots."
So there's just 3 people who make the final.
I don't know.
Who the hell knows? But now
everybody knows, even though no one knows.
In 2 episodes, we've lost 5 people.
Yeah, which is crazy.
I'm telling you, I want this next year for 40. Have 40 cast members on. And get rid of 2 people every episode.
Drop. I agree. If we're going to have this many people, then this is fun. Watch them all die. Squid Game style. Dead.
Anybody can go, no matter how strong your alliance is. You could be a Bananas. You could be a West. You could be anybody. You could be a CT. CT might not even have to go on elimination. He just fucks up one time on a rope and he burns the skin off his hands and he's in the water like that and he's out.
I just like the burning of the hands just makes my insides go outside. I don't know how else to explain it.
Why did they have to show us his hands?
So many times. Like we understand that. Look at my body. I just like.
She turtled. Like her neck went in. She was like this.
I hate it. Seeing like the bits of the fabric of this. I can't. Anyways, back to this.
Definitely do not DM us photos of the people's hands. Don't do that.
I will block you. I can't do it. Honestly, like I'll take other images that you might think are explicit over that.
Oh, we don't want that. I don't want that.
I'm just okay. Well, I don't want the glove burned, and you're asking for that. So,
touche.
Anyways, Nurys wins. TJ is very proud of her. He's very, very happy. I mean, it was an incredible, incredible run. And Kyland and Horacio go home.
they're gone. Now, Mr. TJ had the sunnies on during this and
he
looked
did.
hot.
It was giving Top Gun.
Woo. The sunnies, the aviators, loved it. And Nerys, upon putting her final flag in, just kind of collapsed. You can hear her crying and stuff like that, which was better than when they cut the audio earlier and you just hear her go as she was running. I was like, that seemed odd, but like, yeah, we get it. She's running. And I think that was just to show that, she got around those blocks because they showed Kyland and Horacio like just froggering over them. And she was like,
what the fuck is this?
Here? Throw my body over? Equalizer. So yeah, anyone can win at this point. I mean, taking out two people like that, I think this will be one of those episodes that is talked about long terms, one of these long eliminations that we remember. Her performance in this, the way that she kept calm. I mean, Horacio was cheering her on at a certain point.
Yeah.
Kyland was clearly out after a certain point. So I'm sure there'll be people who go, well, Kyland didn't even really try after a certain point because she was on number 2 and he didn't finish number 1. Whatever. It still happened.
Yeah.
I think there's some people who think Horacio might have not really tried to finish that last one and just was like, I think she needs this. It's better for her at this point.
Well, he has that other show. Yeah.
The films for 8 years or however long they filmed.
Yeah.
And still impressive. And then they show her walking up to the house, which I was not ready for. And everyone is like, huh? And then it cuts. And I'm like, this is how you do it.
Yep.
This is how you fucking do it.
Yeah. This is, it was perfect. It really was perfect. An absolutely incredible episode. Everybody be nice to Olivia. I'm a little worried about her.
We are worried about Olivia. We're worried about the army of people that are going to come for her. I'm wondering if you do the same thing. I'm wondering who does the same thing.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I might do it too.
It's kind of a vet move. Like I could see a Wes doing this or a Bananas doing this or a CT doing this. This is a smart gameplay to save your ass.
Now, I think the only difference, however, is you've basically put your friend, they keep saying best friend, right? In against her now new boyfriend and Kyland, who keeps winning. So not only are you putting that person in, you're putting them against,
And also your ride or die that you just cried about at the beginning of the episode saying that you shouldn't have doubted.
It's
It's not our best episode. We're not going to act like
no, we're not trying to act like she was a queen by any stretch of this, but we're saying like be kind, rewind. Be kind, rewind. Be kind, rewind.
Show.
It is.
And that's what we're going to say about that. A fantastic episode.
And she knows what's coming. She's had a long time to mentally prepare for this. So it's not like they're going to misedit her or something like that. But it is what it is. Now, you guys are looking at the counter right now going, oh, my goodness.
How is there more?
My goodness. Well, first of all, in case you didn't already see it on YouTube, here's first locked and loaded is our interview with the absolute queen of the world, our girl Zaza.
The best.
And as if we didn't like Zaza enough, you just need to go over to the YouTube and just watch the interview. You can just watch the 15 minutes. It's already been posted because there is a fantastic sight gag that happens during this interview.
Yeah.
You just have to see in person. So please go over to YouTube and watch our interview with Zaza over there. If you just want to listen because you don't want to support us, that's fine. You could do that too. However, after this, after Zaza, there is another interview. Now, we've been told, as of recording, that this is all 3 of the people who just got eliminated. And if you know this podcast, you know that that's a little awkward for us. So we don't know if all 3 are showing up. That's what we've been told.
The next interview that you see after Zaza is going to be just as much a surprise for you as it is for us. We're going to do our best.
Who knows? You know what, Mixie? If Kyland's there, you get to ask him about the shirt.
Oh, I'm gonna ask him about the shirt.
Are you gonna ask him to say, "What's up, guys? It's Kyland"?
Absolutely, he will be saying, "What's up, guys? It's Kyland." I got you. Red is not a flavor. We got
you. We got you, King. We got it. All right. That wraps us up from here. You'll continue to listen. The interviews will end and we'll be off. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We want to thank you guys so much. We've had record numbers in the past few weeks here for the podcast. So thank you very much for that. Keep supporting us. Keep telling your friends. Keep posting on the Twitter and people stealing our clips and posting them. Whatever. That's fine. Publicity is all publicity. We're just fucking crushing it. Doing
engagement.
But one things.
Oh my goodness.
Me and Mix here on the number one. Enjoy this absolute If you're not smiling at the end of this interview with Zaza, you need to go to the hospital.
I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the other interview, though.
Yeah. Might be some
We'll
problems.
see.
We'll see. Here we go.
The Queen of Speed and Eye Patches is here. Welcome to the show, Zaza.
Hi, guys. I'm so happy to be here.
We are so happy to have you. Although we are upset that you left the show immediately, Steven and I were like, we get to talk to Zaza. We get to talk to Zaza.
Silver linings.
Yes.
That was the only silver lining, honestly. I was just like, oh no. I'm like, oh, interview opportunity. Great.
Oh no, but wait. Hello.
Exactly.
And we have tons of questions that we want to ask you, but we have to start with the most important. Now you have to give me a second because I have to prepare.
We have to prepare.
Oh my God, guys, why didn't you tell me?
We have to prepare. We
Excuse
have to
me
prepare.
for a moment.
We have to prepare.
They're on. Oh, there she's in. She's getting them on. She's getting them on. Oh. Zaza, what was going on with the eye patches this season? Are you sponsored? Who is behind this? Please tell us what's going on.
I wish I was sponsored. You know what? I just look like a 0 out of 10 most days when I wasn't competing. And I was like, you know what? I've got to do a little bit of self-care. So in the downtime, I was like, why don't I just treat it like my regular life? I love getting pampered. So I brought 100 packs of eye patches with me because I planned on staying to the final. And then I kind of swapped them. I was like, ooh, who wants to be friends with me? You want some eye patches?
That's smart. So you used it as gameplay. I like this.
Hey, I always bring extra protein bars, eye patches,
Genius.
Then someone might feel bad saying your name. I'm like, do you remember that one time I gave you those eye patches? Yeah, you're a bitch.
Well, you didn't give James enough. We'll say that.
No, he needs more. I think he put them right over his eyes. That's the problem with James.
Well, his eyes were somewhere else. Let's be honest here.
Let's be real about that one.
That's very true. I mean, you had a great speech there heading into that elimination, talking about how he had no balls. This was awful from him. You're unfollowing. And listen, we don't want to call you out. You're still following him. You're still following.
This is something recent, by the way. This is a recent thing because there was the reunion, and I don't like any bad blood. But let me just tell you, I will never forget. I know what type of person he is. I am very aware. But I'm not a hater. Just because someone else is like that doesn't mean I have to be like that. But in that moment, I was very fucking heated. And I was like, you're a piece of shit. Go die in hell. Yeah. And now I'm like, did I really say that? I was like, oopsie, that wasn't me.
I love it. I want the whole unedited version because I know you were up there spitting facts for at least 5 minutes.
Facts. Mariah's full chihuahua.
I love it.
Absolutely great.
I want to talk about the elimination a little bit. It sucked to see you in there. Everybody was sad. I know Twitter was all like, gosh, really? These three are in elimination? Come on. But
I don't have Twitter.
Oh, you don't? Well, honestly, it's probably for your best. That's probably why you're so happy all the time.
I feel like I saw some negativity and I was like, oh no, I'll probably cry.
I don't know how anyone could dislike you.
Some negativity? That's basically all it is. So,
well, I'm happy over here.
Stay happy over there.
Well, I need to talk about the wall scale. So you decided eventually, because of the mud, to kick your shoes off and scale that wall. And girl, I was on my feet watching you do it. And TJ was cheering you on. How did it feel to have Mr. TJ cheer you on like that? Because he's normally very quiet and lets things happen.
with TJ's support, it really gave me that extra emphasis and oomph, and I had to do it. He was watching. I mean, I couldn't be a pussy on global television as well. But no, just like being myself, I always have to finish what I start. So I think that's also what was so like disheartening. And I haven't really done many challenges before. I didn't even know what the challenge was until like a year ago. So doing all of these obstacles and knowing what to do first and having that sort of strategy is definitely something that I'm learning on the way. And it was, a total rookie mistake of going in the mud. And I thought like, at the end of the day, I am working with them and they are my friends, but I've also just been betrayed by James. And I was kind of like, well, if they are helping each other, that's fine because they came in the house together. They don't owe me anything. But I just don't want to be around to see it because I'm already depressed. I was just like, right, let me just go do my thing and hope for the best. Didn't work out well for me.
It was impressive, though, girl. Like, you should be so proud of yourself that how you hung in there with them. You were neck and neck with them. I feel like if you had a bit more skill in the Sudoku world, we wouldn't have seen you go.
That was also my first time doing a Sudoku.
Oh, gosh. Well, then.
Seems to be a trend on this show in the past few years.
I was counting like this. I was like, 40 bit. It said add everything up to 45. So I was like, oh, well, thank God I got the rules. But I was like, not the quickest.
Sudoku's hard. You got to be able to do it a few times to really get the hang of it, honestly.
Yeah, there's some tips and tricks to it. And honestly, them just saying each row needs to add up to 45 is probably not the best thing to say. It's just like each box and each line needs to have 1 through 9. That's the better way of describing it. So.
Yeah.
I've got a whole book now.
Yeah.
Next time, they're not getting you on the Sudoku.
Number 1, and I was like, this is supposed to be the easy one. Maybe I'm just stupid.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that was very impressive to watch. I don't think my body has ever moved into those positions that you were on the wall. I feel like you could have licked your knee.
That's what I did. I was like this.
Spider monkey.
I think I tore my ACL just watching you do that at that point. I was just like, I was screaming just like Mixie. I'm like, get over that fucking wall, girl. And then you got over it. I was like, my God. It was like watching my daughter. I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for her.
I literally had a knee injury afterwards, so I was kind of like, thank God. I was like, it's time to recover now.
Yeah.
Much needed rest, deserved.
Yeah, because you had done kind of 3 of these within, what, like a year, it almost seems like, right?
Yeah, exactly. I did the UK one, which was 2 weeks. So it was kind of like a watered-down version, a little taste of what the challenge was, and I absolutely loved it.
Would you say it's like diet challenge?
Diet challenge, definitely.
Okay.
I'm like 0 carbs vibes.
we have coined that term. We have coined the term diet challenge.
Diet challenge. It was a diet challenge, and you know what? I'll go and I'll eat it all up if there was another one because now I feel very experienced. They were showing up. Oh God, yeah. Anyway, so then I went on to the World Championships. And I met Wes, and he was honestly the best mentor. It was very short-lived, as you know. We also made a mistake. You never know what's going to happen in the challenge. And
the maths get you.
But before that, we should have just drunk the smoothie.
You should have drunk the smoothie.
Even in elimination, if we drank the smoothie. So you literally have to treat everything as if it's your last time you're going to be on there. But when you're in there, you do get a little bit comfortable, especially if you have an off day or something and you're feeling good and you're coming off a win and you're feeling high. And then you're like, oh, God damn, I'm in the sand. How did this happen?
Yeah.
And then, 39.
Yeah. What would you say is something that, you know, in a moment where you and Wes were hanging out, do you find, I mean, you said like he was a mentor to you.
Yeah.
I feel like when he finds somebody that he likes and then he thinks would be good at this, was there any like thing that he kind of like told you about, you know, here's how this is going to go. Here's some like tips and tricks of the trade that I've been able to figure out, that he kind of like pushed you on your way with, like sitting you down the river.
We did have a chat, but because I know people are going to be watching, I don't want to help anyone else's game.
Big brain. See, that right there is a Wes move.
That is a Wes move.
I'm so sorry. I told Wes he should start up Wes Training School. I was like, but you're not allowed any more members because otherwise they're going to.
But was there stuff that you learned from Wes that you couldn't really apply in World Championship, but you kind of took into this season?
So, okay, I'll say something. Like, because I didn't really have an alliance going in. It was very tight. I knew the UK people for like a minute. Never met Big T, never met Melissa. So when people say, oh, you're in the UK alliance and they put you in a group, I'm like, I'm actually not with them. I go with people I trust, and I think trust is earned. And so when everyone was trying to like categorize me, I was like, they're saying they're by themselves. I'm like, I'm literally alone. And Callum left. Kieran left. I really got on with him. Then I was like, shit, I've got Mariah and James, but they're just backstabbing me, so I have no one. So I totally lost where I was going with this. Oh, yeah. So Wes told me, don't like go in a room with a lot of people, don't hide, because then you're always in conversation. You can listen, you can know what's going on. I'm a person, if you don't want to talk to me, I'm like, don't talk to me. I don't want to ever put myself in the middle of anything. I'm not that kind of, look at me, I'm the camera girl. No, I'm like, ew, go away. You can see my face in so many scenes. I'm unimpressed. I'm like, that's my resting bitch face. I'm like, what are they talking about?
That's some good Wes advice. That's honestly really smart.
Yeah. No. And then, but then I was in a room with Nerys and Raven, and now they're like two really good friends of mine. So it was very good advice.
What can we expect to see from you in the future? Because we don't. Yeah, well, obviously we want to see that happening, but I don't think we don't usually say this about people who come on the show in like their first or second season, but we feel like you're built for this show. Like this is like your thing now, and I think you're very entertaining on the show.
Oh, I felt like I wasn't entertaining because I'm not in the drama, and I don't like to get too involved in that, because I'm like, oh, it's just a waste of my energy when I could be using the energy to compete and sleep.
Exactly. And that's why you're built for this show, that you're exactly explaining what we're saying.
But I love this show. I never realized I cared about something so much until I was put in it. So what you're saying to me is music to my ears, because I really do want to be the best version of myself, like everybody does. But this gives you the opportunity, especially like physically and mentally. And I've struggled a lot, like through my life with dyslexia, with not so much reading and writing, but just a lot of numbers. So it's like I can brain train now. I know kind of the tools. I'm given the tools, and if I don't do it, then that's just on me. I'm just a lazy fuck. But to add it into my daily routine and do things like that, it's very much easier said than done. But it makes me want to be like a better version of myself. So I'm like, thank you, challenge. You've given me a purpose.
We definitely want you on more seasons. Again, we said you were built for that, and we don't throw that around lightly. And you seem like you enjoy it, and you compete. And I think historical long-term fans of this show want to see people compete. They would like less of the drama. There's a difference between being in drama to get screen time and drama because you feel like you're getting backstabbed and that's going to hurt your game.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt there was a lot of unnecessary things in the beginning, like little did everybody know before you probably realized later on I appeared more in the show, because in the beginning of the show I was hiding in my room crying. I was like, oh my god, maybe this show isn't for me. I was like, I'm not that out there. I am outgoing, but I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna go twerking and get with guys in hot tubs. I'm like in a faithful relationship, so I'm just gonna go to my bed and cry. So I was a bit like, my dad used to joke with me. He's like, so are you going to be in this episode? Shall I watch it? Is it worth watching? And I'm like, Dad, even if I'm in it for 10 seconds, you have to watch.
That's a great point, Dad. You got to support.
You are a killer in those 10 seconds. Whenever they give us some Zaza, we are happy.
Hey, I'm so happy you said that. Thank you, guys.
It's just it's a burst of energy on the screen as well, like just the constant energy, and seeing you like kick a boxing bag. I'm like, oh my god, Jesus Christ! Sometimes. Oh no!
I do my own stunts.
How did that happen?
That was in Paris at the Louvre, and I was trying to do a what? I don't know what I was doing. I was trying to do this jump.
I saw that. Like a box jump.
And I was looking at the camera, and I had my handbag on me, and I was like trying to look cute, and then I like face planted, and my boyfriend was like, "Shit, Zara!" I was like, "I never have to worry about you," and I was like, "Oh no, this is really embarrassing. I can't upload that, can I?" And I was like, "Fuck it." Everybody has their bad days.
And look, she has a bad day and she's smiling and laughing. So this should be just a way for all the people who are watching this and listening to the number one to just know, even our girl Zaza has days like this, and you can still be happy. You can still be happy. Last thing I want to know, my dad from England, do you dip your biscuit in the tea or do you have it separately? Digestives.
I dip it in the tea. I always dip it in the tea. 1, 2, 3.
You got a timer. You can't let it get too soggy. That is true.
It will fall in and then it will just ruin the tea and you'll get all these little floaty biscuit thingies.
Yes. A professional in every sense of her life. We absolutely love you, Zaza. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I honestly had so much fun in this. My cheeks are hurting.
Us here too. Not a boring interview. We never do a boring interview. Always bringing the heat here on the number one.
We will see you next season. I know it for a fact.
We will. We don't know for a fact, but we know for a fact.
I know it in my heart. It's a fact.
Yeah, right here. Right
here.
I hope so. And if like just if next season that you may or may not happen to be on, if there happens to be some eye patches on at some point, we know it's for us.
It's for you guys. It will be for you guys.
Get him back on. Thank you, Zaza.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, it's Editor Steve. Horacio's audio was clipping pretty badly because he was driving in a car. So I've done what I can, but just so you're aware, he was driving in a car.
We have a jam-packed interview today. Everybody say, "What's up, guys?" to Kyland, circle message to Ed, and oiled up on a stationary bike, hello to Horacio.
What's going on? Thank you for having us, guys.
What's up?
Horacio, you're never living that down, are you, man? I mean, it's a great moment to have, honestly. If that was me, I would just have it taped to the side of my car so people knew that was me. You know what I mean?
On a loop. On a loop behind my bed.
Yeah.
You know, just to make sure everybody sees it.
Showing everybody the video.
I
mean, I'm like, that's me. You guys don't believe it? That's me. That's me.
Nerys walks around with the video, actually.
Yeah. I would. Absolutely. That'd be my profile picture. That'd be everything.
I would call Apple and be like, how can I get that to be like the rotating, like a GIF just on my screensaver all the time, right? People be like, whose phone is it? Oh, I got it.
Yep. That's a good idea. Oh.
We have 3 heavy hitters with us today. As Steven said before we started, this is our first 5-way, so please be gentle. I have my first question that honestly has been on the top of mind since the very first episode, and it goes to you, Kyland. Why are you always wearing the orange top? I don't understand it. The gray is so much better. Everybody else got that memo. Did you miss the phone call? What happened here?
Well, in addition to, the bottom line is, my mom's favorite color is orange. So I just was like, hey, why not?
That's sweet and sentimental.
Big inspiration to me. Yeah. Mom's a big inspiration, so super supportive. And so just another way to have her with me.
Got it. I thought maybe like the other one was a little smelly and, you don't want to be smelly. At the same time, you're competing, you got people after you, but we got to get the smelly guy out of here. You know what I mean? Just like trying to avoid that as best as possible. So, what's the other one? Now, I'll just follow up here, Kyland, since we're already talking to you. In the last episode we just watched, you told Berna that you told her to be quiet and not to shut up. So what's the difference? Because apparently there's a difference, and I don't know what the difference is, and maybe it's just the way it's presented, but I was like, oh my God, is this a new thing that I don't know of about this point?
I mean, I think it's the same effect, but different tones. Like, I feel like I feel like I've talked a lot about being on the spectrum, and there's some social cues and stuff, and so I learn everything very hands-on experience. Like, it's not through. I learned through trial and error, and I've just learned like, oh, when you say some things, it makes people feel sad. I guess sometimes people get emotional. And I don't really feel that as much. So I'm just like, okay, let me try and pay attention to things that I say at times. And those are different. I'm a fairly literal person. And so the effect is the same, but the words are supposed to be different. And one's supposed to be, more respectful and considerate. And I, I went on to say, like, I was like, you know what? I'm calling this out because a lot of times you have an opportunity, and so much respect, so much grace for all the people, English as a second language, coming in to play a game like this, not understanding. And I gave credit to that multiple times. But then at a certain point, you're like, oh, I don't think this is a language difference if she's continuing to choose the more abrasive, rude response. And then whenever somebody has an issue with her, you see her best friends coming up and saying, like, we know that she does this. But, and I'm like, well, if you know when you're her friend, then say something about it. And they didn't. And it got to a point where I was like, all right, I guess it'll be me. I have time today. I had time that night. So I just was like, all right.
We all have that friend though, right? That like, you have to be like, hey, sorry about that. But that, sorry about so-and-so over there. They're just,
but that's the thing. You got to say that.
Yeah.
That's fair. That is fair. That's also very Berna, from the little bit we've seen of her this season. That's just very Berna.
Very Berna.
If there's somebody that's always on brand, it's her, She's pulling up the shorts, trying to get our ass of the week winner each week. And, that's just what it is. Did any of you guys think, listen, I'm always looking for an advantage. Maybe this will help. Maybe I should try it out in a daily. Did any of you give it a whirl?
I was trying the shorts up the ass method to see if it threw anybody off. You could have. I got a hairy ass. That would have been not good to see.
That's actually why Berna sabotaged him. She saw his ass hanging out, and she's like, nope. She messed with his rope that last one. She's like, no, just one here.
I wouldn't put it past her.
Why is that a thing? Why she keep doing that? I didn't understand. It just looked like uncomfortable. Like, I hate when I got a wedgie. I gotta like
exactly.
Well, she said she did it because she was a dancer, but I didn't see Emmanuel doing it.
I know a lot of dancers. I have not seen that. I was just like, when you said that, I was like, that's not an explanation at all.
Again, it's Berna. So, it kind of, ping pongs back and forth that way. It kind of makes sense.
Speaking of Ed's hairy ass, I wanted to talk about your hairstyle that kind of popped up randomly this season and then went away. I referred to it as, and I will give it to you now, bitch, please. These are my bitch pleases. So I wanted to know why. Were you trying to be a Viking? Like, what was going on there? Because it was a fashion statement.
Those were my Viking braids.
Got it.
Got it.
That's what that was. So a couple years ago, I was watching this Viking show. I'm like, yo, I want hair like that. I could be a Viking. That could be me. So I started growing it out, and now it's long enough where I can do cool Viking braids. So I'm going to do it.
I love it. Did anybody help you with those braids, or was that 100% you?
I think that was Big T and Melissa that did those braids.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out. They were well done. I'm not lying to you. I loved it. Every time I was like, he's got his bitch pleases out. He's ready to rumble.
Yeah, I feel like it was a really cool warrior look. Some people thought it looked dumb. I guess they're just, they're not in tune with the Viking theme.
Exactly. Yeah, they're incorrect. Send us their names, and we will take care of them as such. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they gotta get with it because it's cool. I know it's cool.
Well, speaking of you being cool, you were on one of my favorite shows, The Circle, and nobody else from this show is from that show. Did you feel like that was an advantage or a disadvantage to have a show that nobody else was on coming into the last season you were on and this one?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I feel like it didn't really help much because they are completely different shows. Like, this one, you're jumping off of cliffs and doing action movie stuff. The other one, I was just sitting in a room trying to, like, pretend to be as cool as possible. Like, it was night and day. It was complete opposite ends of the spectrum. So...
Well, you didn't have anybody that you were connected with. Like, Big Brother has all their Big Brother people, right? And you're kind of stuck with them to a certain extent. Kylan's saying no.
There was no Big Brother people. I was the only Big Brother person.
Well, I'm saying, like, generally speaking on the challenge, they tend to be Survivor,
fair.
Big Brother.
Yes, generally speaking, yes.
Yeah. So, was it hard to get into alliances because of that? Or was it easy because you were kind of a lone wolf?
I feel like I'm very easy to, like, get along with. And my thing is, like, I don't like trying to start alliances and stuff beforehand. Like, I know a lot of people do that. Like, the Survivor people be like, oh, let's team up before this next season. But like, I just go there, make friends. Like, I'm cool with who I'm cool with, and you see how it goes. So I feel like the whole, not coming from a different show, I don't think it really hurts me. I'd rather people, show up, meet Ed for who he is, base your judgments then and there, and then decide. I feel like it gets kind of messy and weird when you try and plan too far ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Viking that you are, everybody needed to see that for themselves.
Yeah. then they see it, they go, oh, we gotta be down with that Viking guy. I guess that's the same question for you, Horacio and Kyland. Is the game's kind of evolved in a way to where you almost have to play an off season of the show, right? You're like kind of like, are you going? Are you not going? Are you going? Are we gonna do this? How does that kind of like, do you enjoy that part? Do you feel like you kind of have to do that? Or is it just kind of show up, see how things kind of start shaking out at the beginning? Because there's basically, as we did this season, there's almost 3 different phases of the game, right? So do you feel like you have to start before the show now, then like kind of what Ed just said there? Is it advantageous one way or the other?
Well, me personally, yeah, I don't care to do the whole pre-show. Like, hey, are you going? Are you going? Like, I don't care about it because I don't care to make alliances. I don't care to cut deals or anything like that. Obviously, if my closest people are going to go, then I would love to know that because usually they come and tell me because they're going to ask me if I'm going. But for example, this season for 39, I wasn't going to go. I was going to do something else. And so when Olivia reached out, I was like, no, I'm not going. And then I finally made the decision, probably maybe a week prior to departure. So I didn't care about who was going or anything. I just think it makes the game so messy, just like what Ed said. And it hurts it's tough actually, because I had only done Ride or Dies, and going into 39, once I was there, we have Jay, we have Michelle, we have Mariah, Colleen, Olivia, Nerys, Chauncey, like all these people from Ride or Dies, Raven, and you kind of feel an obligation to be with them, right? You have an obligation to play the game with them because you just played last season with them in a sense. And I don't like that. I don't like that once you start building connections, people feel like you owe them something. So, like even going forward, if I do get a call to go in the future seasons, whatever the case may be, I don't even know how I would, it's going to be even harder because I just built more relationships this season. So I don't care about the whole pregame. I just think it makes the game more difficult. Let's just play once we're there. You're going to get to know me. If you like me, great. And if you don't, cool, even better. And that's how I kind of see it.
That's totally fair.
I feel like you're asking that question, I feel like, to probably the 3 wrong people, because we are all people who like to just show up that way and play the game and play. Like, even when Ed, Ed, when he was making his decision in the game, you could tell, at no point was like, oh, I guess Ed's like a shady person. I was like, Ed is not being Ed right now. You could tell that Ed was just not being Ed. And so I feel like there is something to that mentality of like, hey, I want my results speak for itself. I want to build alliances based on skill and based on trust and loyalty and all these things that kind of come in the moment. I come from a unique position that I was letting that somebody else pointed out to me, and I was like, oh yeah, that's true. I was the only person that never played with a single other person in the house. Every single person had played some season with someone else at some point. And so, that it is a weird part of the game. And you are trying to figure out the relationships as you go. But I'm also, I feel like it's just not something that I think, is going to be overall how I want to approach the game. But I'm also kind of distracted right now because I'm like, is Horacio Batman? Or and I just never knew it all this time with the shade covering him. Like, oh my gosh, how did we not see it this whole time? We should have known.
It does look like Batman.
I think a lot of us know. We watched him perform. We kind of get it, right?
He could be.
It makes sense. It all makes sense now.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that.
Wow, you guys gotta keep it on the deal.
Good God. We're gonna show up here and burn this computer that I'm recording on right now.
Well, Horacio, I wanted to ask you, you've been out now how many days? Because you probably haven't seen like any of this season yet, have you?
Exactly. Yeah, I've been out for I think maybe about a week, and so I've watched I think maybe 6 episodes, 5 or 6 of them. So I haven't watched a whole lot of it, and that's why sometimes like people are talking about things, or even when I'm with Nerys and she's telling me things, I'm like, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen what they said about me or anything. So it's been a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a lot. I'm usually also away from my phone. I'm not a person that likes to be on his phone so much. So now having to be like watching the episodes and be reading like comments and messages from people and all this, it's been a little overwhelming. But I think little by little, I'll get to see the entire season and see like I guess everybody's real version, because right now all I'm talking about is based on what I lived, not on what they showed on the episodes.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I wanted to pivot to, because there's a lot that happened in specifically ITMs with your ride or die, and I know that there's a lot happening on Twitter and all of that stuff. So I wanted to ask you about it, but I also just feel like you don't really know because you haven't seen it. You kind of got to watch it all for yourself and sort of understand it as a whole from there, because you also didn't go to the reunion, right?
Right. Yeah, I wasn't part of that. I wasn't part of anything. Didn't have my phone for like the last 4 months. My brother was the one running my social media and all that stuff. So I have no clue. Obviously, like I said, Nerys is kind of like threw things at me like, oh, this is what's going on and this is Twitter. And I'm like, first off, I don't even have Twitter. Hold on. Like, what the heck's going on? So it's been a lot. But at the end of the day, it's also kind of been very positive things from the people, from the fans towards me. They've been very positive. If the cast members are not positive, then I guess that's their problem. But other than that, I think it's been nice. But like I said, slowly but surely, I'll catch up with everything.
I'm sure Nerys stood up for you at the reunion. I can only imagine that she had some words.
Oh, I'm sure she did. And I try to tell her, hey, I need you to be calm. You don't have to go all out. But that's her, and that's the reason why I love her. One of them, because
TV. Hey, if anything, it's good TV.
Have any of those messages since you got back been to Olivia, or is that kind of just like we'll get there if I ever need to get there?
Have they been what? I'm sorry.
Have you spoken to her since you've been back? Has there been any texts or communications with Olivia just to be like, hey, what's good? How's it going? Any of that worked its way through in the past week to you?
No, not in the past week. I know that prior to me leaving those 4 months, so.
Oh God.
Month and a half or so. That's when I reached out to her, and we kind of I called her just to make sure how she was feeling and going through it mentally and all these things. But it was just more like she kind of just check in. Right now we haven't spoke for a while, and I don't know what's next, to be honest. But right now we're kind of, she's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing, and that's it.
That's totally fair. I also know, like, ride or dies, we've talked to a few other people. They kind of just put you with people sometimes. So, and you were sort of stuck with them.
Oh.
So, I could understand. A lot of people think that those ride or die connections were maybe a little bit more than they actually were. But, that's that's show business, baby.
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, even I've mentioned it so many times how her and I, we've been a more special connector bond because of how things ended. Going out the way we did in that final, with her with that accident and being so close to winning in our rookie season, like so many things that really, made our relationship grow so much. And I thought it was stronger than ever. And then, come to realize that I guess it doesn't really matter, right? Because I mean, even going back to your question, should you be doing a like alliances previous to going into the show? Like, no, because your alliance could turn at any point. And I guess if you don't have one, it doesn't hurt. So I guess simple as that. Why go in there with people when they're going to turn their back on you?
Absolutely. That totally makes sense. Well, we have one last question that is for all three of you that has been top of conversation for us and on Twitter and honestly with everyone. And Don't worry, we give you 2 options. So you don't even have to come up with an option. You just say option 1 or option 2. Okay? All ready?
Oh, gosh.
What is a scared game? Steven.
Option 1. I'm not going to put any juice on this to try to influence you guys either way. So there'll be no juice. Putting in the same people each week, not taking chances at anybody bigger. You know, we're just going to say the same names that are kind of lower and not take a shot at the bigger people that can beat you. That's option 1. Option 2, you put the strong people in because you don't want to see them at the final. We've heard both on this season. So that's why we're asking it, because I think some people definitely think of it one way. Some people think of it other. So we just want to get your guys' thoughts on the quote scared game, because that's been a thing for God knows how long.
The floor is yours.
Floor is yours. Ed,
don't everybody jump at once.
You.
Wow, that's interesting. I feel like the epitome of a scared game is like when you mash the two together and you just try to keep sending the
Are you running for president, Ed?
I mean, we saw, I'm not going to lie. We saw it happen with these two, Kyland and Horacio, 2 of the greatest competitors. Like, I'm going to give them their cookies because they're good. And everybody kept trying to send them down time after time after time. So it's like, yeah, a scared game could be, I guess, you know, you send the same people that are just easy to say again and again, or it could be you try and send the strong people down because you're scared shitless of them. I think we saw both happen where it's like, send these guys down. All right, we said it once, easy now. Say it again. Boom. So yeah, we saw it. We saw it.
We did. So your answer is option C, all of the above.
He's gone with all the above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Running
Kyland, you're deep in thought. What are you thinking over there?
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult for me to work in absolutes. So it's not even a cop out. It's just, I think there's multiple variabilities, but I think one of the biggest one is who is the player that we're talking about, because I think the 3 of us don't know, like we feel pretty well-rounded, pretty competitive. So I feel like if you're asking someone else that is worried about running against certain people in a final, then that's a whole different game. They have to play a whole different game. And, you know, I mean, going back to even to any season, I'm always like, hey, a scared move isn't a dumb move necessarily. If it's like a scared move, because like that's what I said to Corey afterwards. I was like, yo, it's scared. But afterwards, I was like, I didn't say it was dumb, because you should be afraid of running against Horacio in the final. You know, and so because you like a lot of people should. And so it's just like, I think that's what it comes down to is that. Yeah, I don't know. That's my thought. Is like what type of player you are, you have to play a different game.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It sounds like you might be in the same boat there, my friend.
So all 3 of you are going to run for president. I have a feeling that's where we're going to go with this.
Okay, wait. The only thing I wanted to say too, there's rumors about like a rival season coming up. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew I hate Horacio. Like I can't wait to punch him in the face.
Big brain.
I think he's one of the worst people that I've ever met. I hope I never see him again. And like, Ed too. Ed's a terrible person. And I just want everybody to know.
Quiet.
Yeah, everyone should know.
Be quiet. I'm not gonna say shut up. I'm gonna go Kyland way. Be quiet. Be quiet.
That was absolutely fantastic. And listen, I get it. If I'm there, I don't want to see either of you in a final. No shot in hell.
Or Ed. Also, I feel like Ed is getting a short stick here. I thought you were making it to the final, Ed. I really did.
Yeah.
All my money was on it.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Once I was out, I feel like everybody was very relieved. I feel like they were like, oh, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
I think
the
one
most
of your
people were all of his alliance. That's the
I know,
That's the worst part of it. The most relieved people was everyone in his alliance.
Yeah.
I think your quote last week was, people are starting to see me as an absolute weapon of a human being. And I was like, what a great fucking line, Ed.
I see no lies in that statement
I
either.
am a weapon.
A Viking.
For Valhalla.
All right, Horacio, you get to answer now.
Oh, I get to answer. Okay. Well, I guess I have to run for president as well. I agree with what both Ed and Kylan have said. I think to add to everything that they have said, you're playing a scared game when you give your word to somebody and then you don't end up like fulfilling that word, because that I think that to me is a scary game. If you're gonna keep repeating the same name, I get it. That's sometimes, just like Kylan said, that's sometimes a smart move because you don't want to show your cards immediately. Everybody, you could claim that's a scared game, not showing your cards, but no, that's being smart. Because if I go out and first week and if I'm against Ed, and I see the rest of the season is a tough one for me because and I think that's very just to hold off your cards and wait till the right moment. And so I don't think that's necessarily scary. And then the other scenario where you don't want to run against people, once again, that's smart. Everybody has their own thought process. I remember I had a conversation with Ed, and I don't think it was aired. And Ed, I know I'm not lying, when we kind of just talked about it, we didn't talk about like, oh, we're going to be on the same side or anything, but we had that mutual respect of like, we want to run against the best in the end, And I know us three are those type of people. Like, I don't care if Jordan's there. I don't care if CT's there, Bananas, all these great competitors are there. I want to run against them because that's the only way I'm going to get better. And I think the victory is only going to be sweeter if I get to beat all those guys. You know what I mean? So
understand that completely. I'm the opposite way because I just want money and I don't care how I get it. So I'd be like, bring on the weak people. I don't want to figure it. I want the easiest path. Give me the money. This will change my life. But for somebody like you guys, I get it. Like, that's in your blood. Like, listen, I just want the easiest way to scratching off that lottery and making money. I'm putting the same 10 bets out on roulette every single time. I want the easy money, baby. But I get it. I totally get it 100%. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for spending some time with us here on the number one. We really appreciate it. We hope to see all you guys in the future. And then very quickly, if we know they listen to this podcast, anything you want to try to influence for the next couple seasons? Kyland already did a great job for a potential rival season. Ed, anything you want to train, any rule changes you want to, what's up, MTV, EMN, let them know.
Oh, any rule changes? No more of that team shit. I don't like when we're in big teams of 6, 8, 10 people. That's whack. Get rid of that.
Spitting
bars. Some ideas. Horacio, you they're not listening. What do you want?
I'm in. Yeah, no more teams. Let's bring all the champs, all these finalists. Let's bring all the best of the best and let's go at it. That's what I'm thinking.
So you want 40
we love it.
next year. That's what you want. All right. Let it be known that they want 40 people next year. And that's what we'll
40
do. All right.
40.
40 for 40. Yeah, we'll just do the same format. A purge each week and 2 people go home at the end of the episode.
I love it.
Fly through those episodes. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Good luck in the future, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.